Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hello.
We are live.
I'm
Welcome
fucking
back
great.
to the first light novel stream of the new
Of the
year.
year
Of the new year.
of 24.
Well, we did. If you missed it, we did a gaming stream at the beginning because why not? Whatever. It's like it's Monday. We normally do a light novel stream, but we're on break, and so why don't we play some video games? And it was fun. It was a good time. And I made the executive decision, as the person that has to run the OBS to stream this, that we had such a fun time just playing games and hanging out that once a month, probably at the end of the month, we will play video games together. I know that's going to be difficult for me next month because at the end of the month is basically right when the next Final Fantasy VII comes out, and I am looking forward to playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That having been said, we will still play games. We will still game it away.
I still need to play the first Final
I like
Fantasy.
games.
Like Final Fantasy 1 or Final Fantasy 7 Remake?
Yes, and that is the funnier answer.
Yeah, okay, yeah. All right. So
Yes.
Final Fantasy 1 is going to need an emulator to play that.
Because technically
that's on
it
the
is,
old
Mhm.
NES.
in a way, it is both, although in all honesty,
Could you also do
it is
Virtual
the,
Console?
the Final
Well, I guess
Fantasy
it's
VII.
Uh.
Because I do actually have that.
Also,
Actually,
the funny thing is, we
No, I don't.
definitely one of the things we definitely need. We need sit, listen, read
A
along, and
Taylor.
enjoy. Indeed, Dark Fox. Indeed. Also, Ninja Kenny. Hi. I'm
Hello.
new. What do we do here? Yeah, that's basic. We read light novels
New
and
phone dish.
get off topic and joke around and be silly. We literally had an episode
And
where we spent
we're
an
stupid.
entire
We're
episode
great.
making food puns. So,
Yes.
Yes, it was wonderful. My favorite episode by far.
I think my favorite one was when we berated Palpatine for his stuff, like, because Empire. There was an Empire at one point in this, and then we did Empire, and that was really fun.
the Empire's still here. We have not left
We're
the
still
Empire yet.
we're still
Yeah,
working with the Empire. It's actually
we're still
funny
dealing
because
with the Empire. Yeah.
I got this for Christmas, which is also Star Wars font, which is kind of cool.
Do they know about your Palpy from the Valley?
No, they don't know.
He's like,
just
it's like that
happenstance.
VTuber meme. They don't know I'm a VTuber. They don't know I'm Palpy from the Valley.
They don't know. I actually did make a video for a VTuber recently. It
I
actually
gotta
blew
run
up.
to the restroom, real quick, guys.
Okay.
Mm.
It was for a Kudo
I
card,
do
like
have
Christmas
something
thing.
to update you guys about when it comes to the new channel of freaking the podcast channel known as Technical Difficulties. Our current difficulty is not necessarily technical, it's just personnel related. I realize I cannot edit all the videos that I need to record in a timely manner. So, yeah, if there's any editors out there that would like to help out with that, make sure that you send them over to our Patreon so we can afford you, first and foremost.
Where is it?
That will help a lot. But
Where's the thing?
the first thing that I recorded was like an hour long, and I'm like, damn, dude. All right. I gotta wait till they get back, so we're gonna relax for a moment.
I mean, I'm here. I'm listening. I was
Well,
trying
you're
to
not
find
on
Did you all have a
Book
nice New
Walker.
Year?
You're not on
I was
Book
Or did
trying
you
to
do
find my
anything for New
BB-8 beanie to show off too,
Ah.
to emphasize more Star Wars stuff that I've gotten from Christmas in the past. I'm not kidding.
That's
I have
nice.
one. I just don't know where it is.
Well, I was just saying we have to wait on Moon because he's the Bookwalker guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys have a nice New Year's? Or do anything for New Year's?
I hung out with you guys.
Oh, that's right. We were playing
Yeah.
Raft. That's
Yeah,
right,
we
right.
played
I
Raft.
hung out with you.
That was the first day.
cunts.
What do you
That's
mean
right.
we hung out? What do you mean?
What do
did
you
we do for
mean
New
we
Year's?
hung
You were
out?
there.
Yeah. What
That
did
was
we
good.
do? We
Champ,
built
you
a
literally
raft.
knew.
That's right. I walk.
I was hunting sand. That's all I remember is I was getting
You were
sand.
hunting
That is true.
sand. Hi,
That was all I was
Brad.
doing for like a good chunk. And I was just like, why Because I was hitting the ground and I was hoping I was getting sand from the ground, but I was like, oh, it has to be specific sand spots.
Yeah, it has to
Because apparently
bulge
we're all
out
super picky.
for it to like.
Did
You
you
can't
do
just get
anything
any
for
kind
New
of
Year's
sand
besides
pile.
getting fucking wasted, says Ryuma?
Oh, that's a good question.
I didn't get fucking wasted on New Year's.
No?
Just wasted.
Yeah, just wasted.
Yeah.
Moon, did you get wasted on New
Had
Year's?
food.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
That does
No.
not surprise
Okay.
me.
I got a whole shaker set. Of course I was gonna use it.
So, like Moon's like, no. Are you wasted now? No.
No.
Moon's video is a little wonky, but that's okay.
Okay,
his
I thought that
audio
was
is
just
still
me.
good. His audio is
Yeah.
still good, so that's fine.
And I think that happened with Shem earlier for me, so I was kind of
Yeah.
worried, like, oh, am I having
Cool.
issues?
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe.
the video is a little behind, but I mean, when is a Fat Dog stream not a scuffed stream? So we're
Yeah,
just gonna
it's
deal
true.
with it and move on.
Oh yeah, I do. Have
All
one
right.
of the other.
That
really
having
very
been
good stuff,
said, oh, I just realized we don't actually need the Bookwalker thing because we're starting at the beginning of a chapter. We don't need to do like the full what page and all that. Just like, bro, turn to chapter 3 of volume 14. Yeah, all right. You got high for New Year's. You spelled it H-I, so you just waved at everybody.
Just
You got high. You did the princess wave.
You literally puffed the old year away.
Nah. They didn't
got
say what high
in the
they
Mile High
got.
City.
They didn't say what high. Don't
You
don't
said
assume.
hi, so it kind
Yeah,
of implies.
high. No, it does not. There are multiple ways to get high. As a former,
true.
as a former, connoisseur,
Enthusiast,
as a former
connoisseur.
connoisseur
I like how it came up with the same word.
of a particular brand of narcotic. I can tell you, in my wild and reckless youth, I was a connoisseur of a proclivity of narcotics. So,
An
got high C for New
entrepreneur,
Year's.
if you were.
yeah, an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur.
I'm classy
real velour.
now.
With real
I was a
velour.
foolish little babe in the day.
Hey, anyway, ladies and gentlemen of the congregation.
Tiny bit less energy today.
That's
Yeah,
too
that's
big.
okay,
Everyone
that's
knows
okay.
that.
I went big so that you guys didn't have to. That's
Yeah, it made up for it. It's fine.
Yeah, this
Please
like,
open
does
your
not shake within my
holy
head.
books
It does
of
not work that
Remuism.
way.
okay. Let me not have us talking over each other. There we go. And you hush. You hush there. Shmish. Holy
Shmee.
cats. Holy cats indeed, everybody. Holy cats was redeemed. Post those holy
Holy
cat
cats.
emotes. Post those holy cat emotes in chat. That is what that means.
And why not
Holy
throw
cats,
out some
Batman.
Yantas just cause?
All right. Please open your holy books of Remuism to volume 14,
That's the one.
I don't have that many
chapter
fingers.
3. And there we are.
Yes.
There we go, spamming
There.
with the emotes. Thank you. I love that. I love Sonic is like, oh, the holy cat, and he posts Nyanta.
You said Nyantas, and I'm like, okay.
No,
my
no,
brain
I
just
said
constantly
post-
moved over.
I
a little
said
bit.
post-
Yanta.
He
you
said
go.
Nyanta.
That's
That
all.
does not.
Oh,
I
you
never
know what? I
once.
did it for
Some
you.
Nyanta.
Moon.
Yeah.
There you go.
You dummy. Everybody
I
else has. Everybody else used the Pope cat, and you posted Nyantas.
Also,
Now Reverend did it just to make me mad.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep, there we go.
Hey,
Now hitting both
if we're
bases.
on a
Playing both sides, so you come out on
chapter.
top always.
I don't have
We're
to
on
read
a
page
Nya
numbers. We're
train
on a
right
chapter.
now.
Why
No,
do
yeah.
you have to wait
Instead
for
of a hype
me?
train.
I don't know. Hush.
Yeah.
You hush. You hush. Okay, so chapter 3 is actually a smaller chapter.
I'm not supposed to be the intelligent one right now.
Damn.
No, you are. You absolutely
Let's
are.
be real here. It's not gonna be.
Hey,
All right,
Ben.
so
It's-
we
it's
have
gonna be
missed.
fucked.
We have missed the sultry tones for far too long. So starting off this
Hard.
chapter
of
of
Three.
what?
sultry tones of who?
I was getting to that. Hush.
Okay.
Let me cook.
Let him cook.
Alright. So
Moon over here is like, nah, this is
Sultry
good for
tones of
helping
chap-
you cook.
the sultry tones for chapter 3, and we have It has been too long since we have been without his sultry tones. After a short intermission of silliness, we now turn things over to Shem Supreme. I know it's Chub Supreme as your username.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing.
Yeah,
Shem
at least on
Supreme.
Twitch
Fuck
here.
that.
Yeah. That works too.
Wait, hold on. I just realized something. Oh no.
What's up?
No, that's not it. Where is it? No. Oh my goodness. Did the thing go away? I think the thing went away. Nope, that's...
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
For a second, it went
It's
back.
a bad thing.
On stream?
So it's
you're talking about?
really a good thing.
I'm on
that
stream
that's
right now,
happened.
but I saw the thumbnail pop up for a sec. Everyone's intact here still, so...
Yeah, we're all here.
Okay.
Unless you're talking about something else. So like the overlay? Is that what you're talking about? Because the overlay's gone.
NS light novel. Yeah, it's just missing.
Yeah.
The intro is there, and his camera... No, light novel reading. There it is. Where's
Good
it?
news, everyone.
Okay. Why is it not showing up? Oh no.
Looks
Three
like
inches
we
is
won't hear
considered huge
Shem's
now.
dulcet tone for a little while longer, unfortunately.
Dulcet tones.
Let's see. Let's...
Bring layer to top. Show visible. Unless
Yes.
somebody says, but...
3
There
inches
we
is
go,
considered
Jesus.
huge now? What?
There we are. There we are.
James.
Mayhaps be.
There we
Fuck.
go.
I'm not supposed to use my real
That's
name.
much better.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
And now...
Oh, there we go. There's our overlay.
Mm.
It was
Our
already
beautiful,
over
beautiful-
some other
Can I,
stuff.
like-
I was like, why is it not...
Oh no, it'd be the other way.
I just realized
see if I can,
how much Shem is covered up by Rimuru splashing around.
I'm trying to like...
Oh,
Trying to make it
shit,
sound
we
like
got a
Rising
DD.
Ball, and
I didn't
like-
even realize.
I don't think I can do that.
Oh,
Yes.
that's why. Hang on.
Yeah, Shem in the corner, it's just like
I was
There
trying to
we
keep over
are,
above him.
there
he's
Like,
we
looking over
are.
Rimuru.
yeah.
There we are. That's much better.
Hmm.
That's much better. Reamer is making Shim... Oh, God. Wait, what?
Yeah, he's splashing
Okay.
on him.
The stream stopped?
Yoy.
Did the stream stop? I'm just... It
No,
says we're
no, it's still
offline.
fine.
Why?
I moved it away and it said we were offline. And I'm like, what the heck?
Is this... No.
Okay. Stream is fine.
I can't
No,
I
remember.
have to
Okay.
reload player, but
Sad.
it's
Oh.
seems to be working.
I reloaded. It
Yeah.
seems to be fine. Hello.
Yeah. Stream is fine. I'm into it on the
Yeah.
mobile at least.
Hi,
so.
DDA. Hello, DD.
Hello.
Look, it's the first stream of the
DD,
year.
It has been such a long time. I kind of miss you,
We're a
bud.
little rusty at
Kinda.
this.
Sonic
Only a little.
is doing
A little
okay.
drunk.
Shim is doing okay. Moon
Mm.
is
I'm cold though.
white girl
It's okay.
wasted.
White girl wasted.
I'm fucking
White
great
girl
right now.
wasted.
I'm so good.
Jesus Christ. All right.
He's
At least you're home.
We need like the GTA thing, like with it goes wasted, where you
So you're
could,
not
if we
like,
did
"Hey,
this in
guys."
video format,
Nope.
it'd immediately go to his
Nope.
screen and you just be like wasted.
Moon is
Just-
inebriated? That's putting it lightly.
Yeah.
All right.
Need that sound.
He's over
clip
the
or
moon.
whatever.
He
Very
is-
much.
He is very much over the moon. Okay, so we're actually
To
starting
the
on page
moon and back.
201, and this goes all the way to 252. So not nearly as long, considering it's only like 50 pages. And we've had some doozies.
Long ass
So-
chapters.
So we might actually get done with this chapter by next week, and that will be neat. Yeah.
Okay.
But we can't do that unless we start now. So, Shem, take it away with your dulcet tones.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
In his main method of articulation. I don't know if that's
Articulation.
the
God
actual
damn it!
line, but
No,
Whatever,
my
I'm sticking
dulcet
to it.
tones, my particular choice in vernacular, and my articulation.
Asian.
Or my- oh,
Take it
man.
away, Shim.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Let me get me my trucker. Okay. Good. Anyway,
Fetch
My
this
trucker
boy,
hat!
Trucker hat.
my trucker head. Oh, sorry. I think my phone was right next to the mic, so maybe you can barely hear that.
Alexa
Anyway,
went off. Understood. Your trucker hat will
Understood.
arrive in
Getting-
2 to 3 business days.
God damn it! Now it's messing with my history. Shit.
It's
Sad.
$20 just out of your bank account.
$20 with like $30 shipping handling. Great.
Hey, $20
Good,
is
good.
Yeah,
$20.
it's from the EU. It's from Europe or whatever.
From Europe, from Spain.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Look, they make very high quality
Funny.
trucker hats. Okay.
understood.
Anyway, go
Chapter
earn your
3.
keep.
Yes. Capital in turmoil. The darkness in the imperial capital ran deep and black. Advances in science had given the city natural gas-powered streetlights to illuminate its streets, but even so, there were still many back alleys hidden from the public eye. The city was still developing, but it would be quite a while before all the darkness inside was eradicated. Now Misha was quietly walking in the back, or in the dark, where she was born and raised, and here, it gave her mind comfort instead of fear. That's just how she was. In the days since she finished her report to Yuki, Misha had kept hidden in the shadows, busily preparing for the upcoming coup. The Imperial Army was currently out on invasion. It'd be dangerous for an officer like Misha to be seen in public. Desertion was punishable by death, and also described what she was doing pretty well at the moment. But she strode on with confidence, not a hint of fear on her face. It made evident just how confident she was in her knowledge of the city's darkness. Besides, despite her preference for staying behind the scenes, Misha was an excellent fighter. Not as good as Vega or Damrata, but certainly a talented boss all the same. She was an expert at intel gathering, priding herself at outclassing Dworgen's and Blumen's agents. That was why she felt sure she could hide from the Imperial Intelligence Bureau, and she had stayed alive in the capital well enough up to now. Now she was headed for her usual destination, but tonight, that seemed to be a mistake. She hadn't been careless at all, but nonetheless, a man appeared to block her way. His name was Tatsuya Kondo, the figure stalking the halls of information in the IIB. Damrata hadn't confirmed it with her, but he was also likely the commander of the Imperial Guardians. At the very least, there was no doubt that Misha could ever hope to beat him one-on-one. "Where are you going this time of night?" Kondo asked, his cold voice particularly resonant. Misha smiled, even as she internally chided herself. "Oh, it's you, Lieutenant Kondo. Are you working late tonight?" Despite any misgiving, she acted perfectly serene with him, but for her, the situation couldn't get much worse now. "I can't believe he sniffed me out in this remote nook of such a vast city. What a monster. No way I could beat him either, and my escorts won't even buy any time for me." Kondo had appeared without warning, but he seemed to be alone. That didn't give Misha much optimism. She searched for a way anyway to get out. "You're Misha, aren't you? Staff officer for Commander Caligulio. Why are you back in the capital during a wartime operation? His tone was dead serious. "It was so scary, Lieutenant Kondo. I was actually asked by Lord Caligulio to go on a secret mission back to the capital." She had to deceive him somehow. At the same time, she searched her surroundings for other people, keeping her guard up. There was no one else in this cramped alleyway, which was fine, but her bodyguards had apparently disappeared on her. Did they already take care of them? How outclassed are we, anyway? I didn't even notice a fight. In an instant, Misha gauged the situation. They did not know each other personally, but there was no way Kondo wasn't aware of Misha. She didn't know how he saw her, but it didn't seem like words alone would get her through this. Her guards were dispatched without a moment's hesitation. Deception, she assumed, was out of the question. So she decided to ask for help from Damrata, whom she was planning to meet up ahead, but then an unpleasant thought entered her mind. How did they find out where I was? Sir Yuki decided to trust Damrata. But can I do the same? It was Damrata who arranged this meeting place for them. They were supposed to work out the details of the top-secret conference they'd have with the Demon Lord Rimuru tomorrow. Not good. Not good at all. There's a chance Damrata double-crossed us. As much as I hate to think it, Sir Yuki trusts him. And besides, I owe Damrata as well. Misha and Damrata had known each other for over 20 years. They were both leaders of Cerberus, and she felt she knew more about him than even Yuki. That's why this was all so confusing for her. He knew Damrata to be cold-hearted, rational. Based on what he told her, he had no apparent reason to stab Misha in the back. She not only wanted to believe that, after listening to Yuki explain matters, she was convinced of it. So now wasn't the time for hesitation. She had to believe in her friends until the end. So her mind made up, Misha looked at Kondo. My gratitude goes out to the great Emperor Ludora for the good fortune of meeting you here. Oh. It was you, Lieutenant, wasn't it? The guy who took out my pursuers? I knew I wouldn't be able to take on that many opponents by myself. Ah, proceeding with that script then. Oh, are you suspicious of me? Even after I've been desperately trying to get back from that hellhole to bring you my information at all costs? Misha boldly continued the performance, approaching Kondo and sidling up to his chest. This was Misha the lover's specialty, using her feminine charms to ensnare unwitting men. It was powered by a combination of curse perfume and the illusory magic charm, and it worked on the mind of the target, stimulating their base instincts while inhibiting their thought processes in order to make them fall in love with her. Their dependence on Misha would grow further if she was closer to them, physically and emotionally. Once she had it all in place, she'd have as much control over the target as she wanted. She was using this on Caligulio as well. By her estimation, a few more embraces, and he'd be hers for the taking. And not just Caligulio either. A litany of men had fallen for her wiles. As far as she knew, it had never failed before. It was the most powerful card she had to play, because even if she never had a chance in battle, she was sure any opponent would succumb to lust for her. So Misha placed her supple hands around Kondo's back, pushing her ample breast against him. Then she gauged his reaction. She could sense him slackening a little. She giggled. Good. He pretends to be this stuck-up bastard, but even Kondo's still a man, huh? This was going better than she anticipated. Maybe this would work out after all. Hey, why don't we go somewhere else, huh? A room where we can relax, maybe? She whispered the words, her lips close to his ear. Kondo's right hand moved a bit. Very well. She could hear him whisper back. This is going well. My best bet is to meet up with Dumrata at our rendezvous point. Even if that doesn't work out, I can have Kondo sleep with me, and then he'll become my captive. It was the last thought Misha would ever have. With a dry bang, Misha collapsed to the ground, the left side of her head bleeding profusely all over the street. Somewhere along the line, Kondo had produced a Nambu semi-automatic handgun. The smoke rising from the muzzle made it clear this was a murder weapon that had shot Misha in the temple. He put it away, expression frozen as if nothing untoward had happened. His unique skill, Decipher, which read the thoughts of anyone he came in contact with, had already collected all relevant information. Misha's objective, Yuki's plans, the fate of the Imperial troops staging the invasion, it took him less than a second to read all that. But despite the devastating truths that just revealed to him, Kondo's face remained frozen. Instead, looking almost bored, he spoke into the darkness. A coup. What a deranged idea. And yet you claim you're not betraying His Majesty. From the darkness, where nobody should have been, emerged a lone man. Instead of answering Kondo's question, he walked up to the crumpled figure of Misha. It was Dumrata. Kondo, you didn't have to kill her, did you? With the right education, she could have been a great help to His Majesty. No, there was no chance of that. Apply a ranking to her skills, and she would be lucky to reach 37 or so. She might have had a chance if she could reach the teens at least, but no woman of her caliber could ever serve His Majesty. Besides, Kondo coldly spat, I was completely exposed, and she couldn't penetrate my defenses. Dumrata shrugged.
I believe it's pronounced Kondo because he is Japanese.
Kondo? Okay.
Kondo.
That makes sense. It's not something that you buy with a lot of money. And
Moon,
you live
are
in.
you swatting at insects?
Just me.
I saw
It
your
works.
hand go across. Like, are you trying to swat a
What?
fly?
Oh
You
no,
spot a fly?
this was me going for my mouse because
Oh.
I need to change page.
Oh, okay. I always have to break out the popcorn when Shim starts reading.
Thanks.
Doing great.
Maybe I
guys.
should as well.
Maybe the pillow too,
Hold on.
just in case.
Hold on.
Huh.
Hold on.
In
Yeah.
probably another hour or two, I'll make some popcorn chicken.
There you go. Ooh, that sounds nice.
I
There we
broke
go.
I broke out the Zelda pillow just for you.
Yeah,
buddy.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yep, just in
okay.
case.
Chicken is amazing.
You'll have
Yeah.
to
By the way, if you don't know, right here we got Majora's Mask.
Yes.
Then we have, freaking frack, man.
And then you got the Wand of Gamelon. And then
we
you
have the
have
Wind Waker. And
the
then we
faces
have
of evil.
Majora's Mask. So that's essentially what my bed is right here. Wind Waker,
a good-
Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time.
It's a good set.
It's ASMR.
I'll never get over that. Thank you. Let's see. Should I continue?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, gotcha.
Actually, you know what? Hang on. I'm gonna go ahead and lower.
Dumrata shrugged. If Kondo said so, he must have been right. There was no point arguing. All he had were mixed feelings over the fate of Misha, one of his friends. He kneeled next to her, holding out his left hand to the left side of her head. A soft light closed the wound. He pushed Misha's protruding eyeball back into its socket, pulling both eyelids down. Finally, he wiped her face clean, trying his best to restore at least some of her beauty. He couldn't bring the dead back to life, but at least he wanted her to rest in peace. Why waste your time? Leave her, and the body will be disposed of before sunrise, said Kondo. Just answer my questions, please. I can't put my emotions aside the way you can. You're too soft. You're just crazy. How can you act so thoroughly emotionless at such a young age? I don't have any emotions. End of story. That's ridiculous. I have seen hell in my time. It was Emperor Ludora who saved me from that hell. If you're switching sides on me, you won't receive any mercy. I am ever His Majesty's faithful servant. I could never betray him. We'll see about that. Remember, you're under my spell at the moment. If you want me to trust you, better prove it by your actions. Then Kondo walked away, never looking back. Damrata took one final glance at Misha, then left the scene himself. Nights lasted a long time in the imperial capital. There was still work left to be done. Not long after, agents from the Intelligence Bureau disposed of Misha's body, leaving not a trace behind. The darkness of the capital's nights was so deep it could bury even these events, as if they never happened at all. Upon receiving Yuki's instructions, Kigali immediately went on the move. If they were going to carry out this coup, careful preparation was absolutely essential. Messengers were instantly dispatched, and within a few days, all the major players from around the world were gathered in one place. Nearly 30 of them were now at Yuki's mansion in the imperial capital. Faithful agents who all swore absolute loyalty to the man. Some, like Vega, were embedded in other imperial corps and couldn't participate. The people here composed around half of Yuki's executive staff. The coup itself had been in the works for some time, and the attendees were all eagerly awaiting Yuki's speech, feeling that the time was near. They were all quite capable, climbing the ranks on their own strengths and making names for themselves in the military. Their loyalty to Emperor Ludora was non-existent from the start. Some were even excited at the concept of engineering an empire-wide revolution. There were visitors from other worlds, halflings with strange and unusual skills, superhumans subjected to cruel body enhancement experiments, and first-rate adventurers raised by Yuki himself. There were even enslaved warriors collected by Damrata, as well as magic-born under Misha's protection. What they were faithful to the most was violence, and that's exactly where the composite division shone the most. A large meeting room was open to them all, located upstairs above the grand atrium floor. Yuki came in with Kigali just as everyone took their seats. Hey there, guys. Great to see all of you here. He was all smiles, speaking his usual cheerful tone as he greeted them. Tomorrow, I have a meeting planned with the Demon Lord Rimuru. I'm having Misha bring over Damrata as well, so we'll discuss more details once he arrives. This instantly caused an uproar. Weren't we staging this coup by ourselves? Demon Lord is too cunning and unpredictable. Are you sure we can trust him? No, wait, aren't we at war right now? Rimuru can't just slip out of that and slink over here. Voices shouted out across the hall. Yuki's smile just broadened. The Imperial Army has been annihilated, you know. Rimuru killed all 940,000 troops who invaded the forest. That's insane! It's too fast. Calculate the travel times. It's only been a few days since we engaged them. It was far too much for the audience to believe. Yuki quieted them down with a laugh. If we're going to overthrow the Empire, we need fighting power. That's why I've decided to join forces with Rimuru. The audience began to understand Yuki's words, even if they didn't agree with them. The more intelligent among them had shifted their attention to whether this intel was reliable or not. Is this information Lady Misha brought back? Many Cerberus members were among the group, aware of Misha's presence in the military. You got it. If we hadn't allied with them beforehand, or allied with them beforehand, I think they would have killed Misha long ago. Lady Misha did that? Astounding. She may have done mostly undercover work, but she was also a well-known figure, a truly appropriate leader for Cerberus. Everybody in here attained their positions in life through their own efforts alone, so they knew how to assess their peers fairly. They had a lot of trust in Yuki that way, oddly. They knew he'd never value someone inferior in ability. Well, in that case, I welcome this alliance. I'm not too happy about how you kept this to yourself until now, but I'm sure you had your reasons for it, eh, boss? Not really any major reason, but yeah. It's just that I lost to Guy. Or to Guy. Were we calling him Guy, right? I forgot. Right?
I think Guy.
Guy? Okay, sorry.
No,
it's just that I lost
we moved
to Guy.
on to calling him Guy.
Yeah,
that's right. Just
I
double
got it
checking.
backwards. My bad.
It's just that I lost to
Okay.
Guy. And he made me promise him something. Guy? You don't mean Guy Crimson, do you? You fought the Lord of Darkness? That's way... You fought the Lord of Darkness? That's way out of line, boss. Impossible. I'm amazed you survived. Now the audience was in an uproar for another reason. Yuki quieted them down again. I'm sure you all have your opinions, but I don't have time to explain everything. For now, you're all going to have to accept it, and I hope you'll be patient with me on this. Instead, I'd like to discuss the arrangements we'll make at our tomorrow's meeting and how we'll conduct our operations afterward. The only official forces remaining in the capital were the IIB and a force of new recruits. The top-ranking IIB personnel were a threat, perhaps, but their rank and filers didn't really count as a military force. The new recruits formed a vast army, numbering a good 100,000, but they had no real skill. They were just fill-ins, not even worth considering in this coup attempt. There were also around 20,000 guards serving as police, but in terms of their equipment, they were no match for a military. The difference in gear was so vast it'd be like a grown-up taking on a 5-year-old. At best, they could stop their coup for a short period of time. But the most powerful forces of all, the Imperial Guardians, were still at the disposal of the Emperor. The IIB as Guardians mingled in among them too, so technically speaking, it's really only the Guardians who we need to worry about. Right, yes. I've run into them in ranking duels before, but the guys up top really do pack a punch. Oh, quit patting yourself on the back. For all we know, there are traitors like us among the Guardians, no? Could be. Me. The only thing I have faith in is power. I'm not going to swear allegiance to some emperor who swaggers around like a fancy lad all the time. Scattered laughter broke out. They had allies among the Guardians. Reaffirming the fact just now, everyone just realized just how much of an advantage they had. The joke was told by a somewhat small man known for his arrogant attitude. His name was Arius, and he was an otherworlder. Not summoned, but a visitor, one who made the journey by chance. So will the Demon Lord Rimur's forces be ready for this by tomorrow? The black-haired girl asking this question was Mai Furuki, a high school teen over in Japan who was then summoned and picked up by Yuki back when he still led the Free Guild. Thanks to the support Yuki offered, she held deep, admiring trust for him. Good question. If they're bringing an army, it'll take a while no matter how fast they are. Not unless they're flying over. Hey, they ain't gonna fly into the capital, are they? Oh, that was a guy, or a big dude. Good question. If they're bringing an army, it'll take a while no matter how fast they are. Not unless they're flying over. Hey, they ain't gonna fly into the capital, are they? Now a large, muscular man was chiming in. Tornawat, a former slave fighter. If he hadn't caught Damrata's attention, he might have spent his whole life toiling in the mines until he collapsed. Thrown into the army, Tornawat received an education, something he took intense pride in. Despite his bulky build, he was quite an intelligent man, and also that he had been appointed a staff officer in the composite division. Perhaps. But flight magic consumes spiritual force. That won't be a problem for a demon lord. That won't be a problem for a demon lord, maybe, but I don't know if his rank and file monsters can all fly. Tornawat's question was answered by Alia, a petite magic caster who also wore the heavy armor of a fighter. She was nowhere near as young as she looked. In fact, she was an apprentice of Ghidorah's, and she also had undergone body enhancement surgery, making her a unique figure in this crew. I don't mean that, Tornawat countered. Whether the Empire's main force is away or not, they've got a surveillance network covering the skies above the capital. If a large army comes in from the air, they're gonna get noticed no matter how far away they land. I don't know any of these characters very well. Alia's face reddened a bit. It was a surprisingly accurate observation, and being shown up like this was a tad embarrassing. By Magicaster standards, she was unusually short-tempered and too quick to speak without thinking matters over. Hey, it's important to keep an exchange of ideas going here. Analyzing things from different angles could help us see things differently, after all. Yuki quickly interceded, guiding the chatter back to their main topic. Rimuru has contacted me through Old Man Ghidorah to say that only a small number of them will be coming tomorrow. The contact came through a Ghidorah-engineered anonymous magical call. Even if the IIB was listening in, it was all encrypted and impossible to decipher. Ghidorah outlined the main points of it to Yuki, and according to him, the roster they'd send tomorrow was still undecided. Rimuru was definitely coming, but who would escort him? Sounds like Rimuru's decided the show of force won't work on Ludora, too. Quality over quantity, huh? I bet he'll be nothing but his top brass over then. Maybe about 10 or so at most, Yuki reasoned. They're underestimating the Empire that much, or are they making fools out of their allies? The question was lodged by a slender beauty stretching herself out, not a question so much as just stating what was on her mind. This was Orca, a warrior, and she might have appeared a bit airheaded at first. Despite that, she was an extraordinary talent with a number of hidden skills. Wrong on both accounts, Orca. Like I said, it takes a lot of time to ready a large army. Delays pop up in so many different ways. I'm sure you decided it was better to work with a small team of elites. Tornawat stepped up to explain matters again. Yuki smiled, glad to be spared the trouble. Exactly. That's why we need to work out our direction now. If Rimuru was only bringing his best fighters, that brought up the question of who would pit themselves against whom. I'm going to ask Reamer what he thinks of the meeting tomorrow, so we need to put our thoughts together. For example, what are we going to do with Emperor Ludora? It might have been pretty arrogant of Yuki to say that. Defeat wasn't even on his mind, only victory was in his future. Discussing the treatment of the Emperor before the coup had even succeeded was a tad abnormal after all. But no one pointed this out. Even Tornawat, always ready with a verbal jab, grinned and waited for Yuki to continue. The Dwarven Kingdom is aware of our activities as well, so the currently deployed Composite Division forces are free to head off to the capital without worrying about their rear. If all they have to deal with are the Imperial forces left in the capital, it'll be easy, right? It sounds that way. The Guardians are the only threat? That's right, responded Yuki, still smiling.
Well,
he knew the
any
true
good,
threat was
sexy,
elsewhere.
sentient beings should worry about their rear.
That's why I gotta cover it.
Yeah.
Especially got a lot of cake.
Always worry about the rear.
Yep.
Damn, that's a
Might
thick
drag
boy!
us
Especially when the bakery's always open.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
An unknown entity known simply as the Marshal. Have you thought about why Guy let Yuki live in the first place? Why did Reaver take his... Yeah. It's extra thick.
It was extra thick with a good helping of icing.
No, not yet.
No.
Anyway, why did Rimuru take action this time? He's a pacifist at heart. I figured he'd hate to attack other countries out of nowhere. Perhaps he didn't want to have any regrets. Yuki felt that couldn't be the only reason, so he mentally put the pieces together, and then he saw a hint of Guy's shadow behind Rimuru as well. If that was the case, he concluded, perhaps there was a monster in the Empire that could be worthy opponent for even Guy. Depending on how things work out, we might have to kill the Emperor, won't we? Not so fast, Arius. Yeah, don't reserve the right for yourself. The crowd here was so excited that they were openly talking about the Emperor's upcoming murder. Yuki agreed it was too early to discuss his treatment, but he was glad to see everyone so revved up in advance. In fact, they'd be discussing Ludora's fate at the meeting tomorrow. Ludora was opposed to killing him, and Damrada's loyalty was still squarely aimed at the Emperor. They were both important collaborators on this, and Yuki hated to clash with them. Plus, there was a healthy chance this monster Guy was so wary of was Ludora himself, and if so, it'd be suicidal for Yuki to make any careless moves. Let's wait and see how this turns out, he concluded. No need to put myself in the hot seat for no good reason. Could always have Rimuru take the Emperor, too. They'd be saving strategic details for after Damrada's arrival, but Yuki already had a draft outline ready for their approval. First, the main part of the Composite Division would overrun and capture the capital. Any Imperial Guardians who got in the way would be taken care of by those present in this room. Yuki expected big things from them all. They were no less capable than the Guardians themselves. Maybe they couldn't take the top-ranked ones, but they still had a numerical advantage. If multiple allies swarmed on one, that should make up the difference. The big guys like Ludora and the Marshal could be left for Rimuru, considering he was kind enough to join their fight and all. That's what Rimuru was probably aiming to do anyway, so he was sure the Demon Lord would accept that. Meanwhile, no Imperial reinforcements would come from anywhere to defend the capital. One of their three major armies, the Armored Division was destroyed by Rimuru. The rest of the Composite Division would join them once the trend was clear, and the Magical Beast Division was way up in the clouds over distant lands. Even if they found out and rushed over at full speed, it'd all be over by then. Now that the plan had progressed this far, it was all but a sure bet. Yuki wasn't about to hurry matters, but he was sure victory was imminent. Still, he couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that he was missing something. What could it be? Pardon my lateness, boomed a calm voice that echoed across the heated meeting hall. The moment it did, everyone shrank back as if it showered with ice-cold water.
That was
There
not
you
a
are,
calm
Damrada.
voice. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Sorry.
Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?
Did you put your name in a goblet of fire?
The Goblet of Fire. Dumbledore asked
That
calmly.
name is not in that fire.
You're like, oh my
Yeah.
god, Richie's
Yeah,
quiet. Oh my
calm.
god, I muted my mic so that Shim could have time to talk.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's fine.
Mm.
There you are, Damrada. He was finally here. Today, Damrada was dressed in his military uniform. A
Did
rarity
you put
considering his usual
Damrada in the
dresses.
goblet of fire?
Did you put Damrada in the Goblet of Fire?
No,
He asked
sir.
calmly.
Why not?
Just evolves into barking.
He's
Yeah.
Just if you
Very
say a word
Goblet of
enough
Fire,
times,
as
it
sung
turns
by
into something
Johnny
else.
Cash.
Yeah.
And it burn, the goblet of fire.
Fire went
The
higher.
goblet of
In the
fire.
ring of Damrada.
A goblet of
The
fire.
goblet
Yeah.
of fire.
There
Yeah.
we go. Okay. And I put
Today-
I put my name
My
into the big
name
old
in
goblet
the
of fire.
goblet of fire. It burns, burns.
burned, and my name just flew up higher.
You
Yep.
see Goblin Slayer in the background. He's just doing the lighter thing.
The lighter,
Why
yeah.
would Goblin Slayer be doing that?
Because it involves goblins and burning.
No, it's the goblet of
No,
fire.
goblet.
Yeah, like the
Oh,
It's a
okay.
cup.
I'm sorry.
It's a
Well,
cup.
Yeah, on my end, I'm hearing this. I was wondering, like,
The
why?
goblet of fire.
We're not playing Magic the Gathering.
Goblet of fire.
Goblet
Yeah.
of fire.
That's why I
It's
thought
okay,
it was
we're-
funnier.
No,
We're not playing Magic the Gathering with
Yeah.
red goblin decks.
Yeah,
It's
there
fine.
we go. All right, sorry.
Don't worry about it.
I didn't
okay.
know we were gonna get
No,
distracted by
please
Goblin of Fire.
Mm,
Goblin these nuts.
yeah. Today,
Also,
Damrata was
uh,
dressed in. It's okay. You can stay. This is your fucking stream, dude. Stay here.
Like, picture, if you will,
Yeah.
a goblin of fire. I know it
goblin
sounds
of
crazy,
fire.
but hear me out.
Me. All right.
Hear me out. Okay.
Hear
What
me
if
out.
we?
Yeah.
What if we
It's a very
set the
effective way of
goblin
taking care of them.
on fire? Anyway.
Goblin Slayer.
I'm in.
I'm
Yes.
listening.
No, he's onto something.
No,
hold on,
Let
hold
him
on.
cook.
No,
Let him cook
yeah,
them.
that's the
Let him
whole
cook
thing.
the
That's the whole,
goblins. The
no,
meat
that's
might
the whole
actually be
thing. That's the whole thing.
Mm.
Goblin Slayer. Let him cook. Immediately cut to a shot of Goblin Slayer holding a goblin over a roasted pit.
Yeah, like
roasting
on a
pit.
spit.
It's like chicken.
No.
Yeah.
Let him cook.
Let him cook. Yeah.
Let him cook the goblin.
All right. Anyway.
Anyway, someday Damrata was dressed in his military uniform, a rarity considering his usual merchant's disguise. That was when Yuki began to worry. Where's Misha? She's dead. The hall fell silent. Everyone went on guard, sensing something disturbing. They'd all been in many life-threatening situations in their time, so they were sensitive to the signs. What do you mean, Damrata? I mean exactly what she said. She was killed by Kondo a moment ago. The instant he heard the news, Yuki felt the lingering uneasiness in his chest explode. The uneasy feeling that he had overlooked something. Now he knew what it was. He and Damrata hadn't known each other for very long, but their relationship ran deep. They'd shared in countless evil machinations that could never be revealed to the public. It was his assistance that helped Yuki take down the Echidna's Club, once the overlords of organized crime. Then they established Cerberus together, with Damrata working tirelessly to build it up. That's what Yuki thought, but maybe he had it all wrong. In fact, everything was going exactly how the Empire wanted it. Cerberus was built from a core group that Damrata recruited for the purpose. Its mission was to weed out the talented from the incompetent, and its network was spread around the world to find and bring in new potential talent. Protecting lost otherworlders was part of that, and they hadn't started just recently. It had been going on for a while, even back when the Echidna Club was dominant. In a way, didn't it mean Yuki himself was discovered by Damrata in the same manner? He was in the business of scouting strong prospects and bringing them under his wing. And as he worked on that, Damrata discovered Yuki. If Damrata himself emerged from his undercover position, he'd be too conspicuous after all. Yuki was just selected as a charismatic public figure. He thought he was using Damrata, but it would seem like it was the other way around. But that didn't mean Damrata double-crossed him. His loyalty was genuine. Perhaps someone had manipulated Damrata in order to make the ever-suspicious Yuki trust in him. Thinking about it that way, it seemed to answer all his questions he had up to now. Picking up on all this, Yuki let out an exhausted sigh. Well, you sure put one over on me. So when did all this begin? What do you mean? Damrata sounded indifferent. He used the same tone as always. But now Yuki was positive something was off. Damrata didn't seem to be playing dumb. He honestly didn't understand his question. The man himself, in other words, didn't even realize he was being manipulated. No wonder, huh? If he didn't realize it was happening, he wouldn't know to keep an eye out for it. Yuki recalled their last meeting. Damrata had insisted he didn't betray anyone, and Yuki felt that was the truth. Maybe something had been done to him after that, even. If he could trust his own instincts, it seemed that Damrata's manipulation happened only recently. Right. I'm the one who decided to trust him, and I'm not going to say anything about that now. The important thing is, what does whoever sent Damrata here want from us? Someone was controlling him, that much Yuki was certain of now, and based on that, he surmised that they were in a very delicate situation. For all he knew, they'd fully surround his mansion in the time it took to deal with Damrata. Yuki was lost in thought, Kigali quietly analyzing the situation herself, but the revved-up audience was enraged by Damrata's behavior. How dare you disrespect Sir Yuki! Alia shouted, denouncing him. Damrata, Tornawad said. What are you thinking? Are you here to betray us all? Betray, Damrata aloofly replied. What a strange thing to accuse me of. From beginning to end, my allegiance for His Majesty, the Emperor Ludora, has been unwavering. That's called betraying us, Arya spat. Dumbrata was Arya spat, excuse me. Dumbrata was notorious for being corrupted by money, a fact that some of his companions looked down upon him for. Some even openly talked behind his back about how he'd surely betrayed all of them for the right price. That's why the group here was more angered than surprised with his revelation. Tornawat was the first among them to act, lifting Dorada up by his shirt and shouting at him, "Quit screwing with us! You found me! You said that I should live for the greater good instead of die in the mines! I was so grateful to you! So why did you do this to—" This was actually Tornawat's attempt to protect Damrata. Before anyone else could act, he wanted to confront his benefactor himself and figure out what was going on. But to Damrata, this was probably unwelcome attention. With a gentle squeeze of Tornawat's wrist, he flicked his hand back, manipulating his muscle tension to reverse the hold on him. Tornawat, do you remember what I said to you? His eyes were so cold that they chilled the normally level-headed Tornawat to the core. What? He replied, grabbing his wrist. I told you to be strong for the greater good, didn't I? And this power is all you have to show for it? All his force converged on a single point. It made Tornawat's wrist creak and then shatter, all in an instant. You! What did you do to my wrist? With that groan, Tornawat backed away from Damrata, rubbing his wrist as he used one of his healing potions he always kept on hand. Damrata stood there at ease, refraining from a second attack, but there was nothing off guard about him. In a world where some monsters can repair broken bones in an instant, you could never let up until you were sure your opponent was neutralized. A fail to realize this would be lethal. Yuki narrowed his eyes toward Damrata. He knew this man was powerful. You didn't get to you didn't get to rank that high among the single digits without being able to outclass a room full of champions like these. The question was, did he possess an ultimate skill or not? And if so, how good was he at using it? Will my anti-skill work on it? That's the thing. Depending on the answer, he may have to kill Damrata. He needed to know, so he didn't dare stop anyone from confronting him. You're the Emperor's dog, aren't you? Shouted Arius. I thought you were just a money-grubbing bastard, but you tricked us all. Why would a coward like you just walk in here alone and expose yourself? Then things began to unfold. He's right, Damrata. I owe you a great debt, so I'm going to make your death painless. Now Tornawat was ready to challenge him with everything he had. Too late. But despite Tornawat grabbing the battle mace hanging from his belt and heaving it upwards with both hands, Damrata had no problem ducking the strike. It was a clean, natural movement. In a clean, natural movement, he dived towards Tornawat's chest and gently pushed out the palm of his right hand. Despite the light, airy move, it hits its target with a deep, heavy impact. This was Spiral Penetrator, a type of Fajin martial arts move that strikes its opponents with focused, explosive force. This fighting spirit is given directional kinetic energy that penetrates both armor and muscle, destroying the target from the inside out. Its power is proportional to the amount of infused fighting spirit, and if Damrata was the one focusing it, he could count on it having the lethal force of a tank round. His opponent crouched down, coughing up blood, his legs too weak to stand back up. How could he? That single blow had just destroyed all of Tornawat's internal organs. It's crazy. You were that strong. Well. Judging a book by its cover. The classic move of a conceited pile of muscle supported by a massive ego. Were you laboring under... The classic move of a conceited pile of muscle supported by a massive ego. Were you laboring under the assumption that you outgunned me just because I hired you as a guard? I asked you to be strong. Humans are no fools. They don't need to rely on arcane esoteric abilities. They can become as strong as they want. They train hard enough. Just like I did. Then Damrata shot his leg backwards, executing a roundhouse without looking behind him. The attacker, aiming for his blind spot, unable to react in time, promptly died of a broken neck. Jesus. Damrata made it look like stepping on an ant, but this was Arius, a man whose strength even Yuki praised. He possessed the unique skill Murderer coupled with the twin skills of Silent Movement and Concealed Presence, the perfect combination for assassination missions. This made him a natural killer, one good enough to rank number 44 in the Imperial hierarchy. But despite his specialty in anti-personnel ops, Damrata wasted no time at all dispatching him. As I think I've just shown, leaning on your abilities is not good enough. When push comes to shove, the thing you can rely on most is your well-trained body and mind. If you ask me, all of you here are useless. He was choosing harsh words, and those in the room, who had never been ridiculed by even their martial arts instructors, were indignant as they heard of them. It was like he was trying to teach the weak a lesson here, and infuriated them. They all glowered at Damrata, eyes blazing with murderous intent. In the midst of all this, Yuki was still calmly, silently observing. Now he had his conclusion. I knew it. Damrata didn't betray us. Someone was controlling him. Someone on the Emperor's side, maybe. Considering Arius' position in the Imperial Guardians. He didn't kill Tornawat, but against Arius he showed no mercy at all. That's all the proof I needed. So Damrata still has his free will, but he can't do anything that'd be inconvenient for whoever's ruling over him. Is that it? Whatever controlled Damrata must have been a very powerful force indeed. Nonetheless, Damrata was still attempting to find a way to communicate his current situation to Yuki. Based on that, Yuki tried to work out the best solution. Okay, guys. Eyes over here. Switch to a retreat operation right now. I'm leaving all authority to Kigali, so all of you drop everything and regroup with the composite division. Boss, we don't have time to run away. Let's take care of this traitor, and then we can rise to action right now. No. Yuki immediately rejected Alia's suggestion. Oh. He still had his usual carefree smile on, but his eyes weren't so jovial as he scanned the room. Damrata's stalling for time. That's why he's going on and on like this. It's what he's been allowed to do, okay? Allowed to do? Kigali asked. Yuki nodded. Right. Damrata didn't double-cross us. Someone's controlling his mind. That someone's trying to wipe us out right here. This revelation was met with mixed reactions, but it did help his comrades regain their sense of judgment. Holding back the desire to kill Damrata, they focused their gazes on Kigali, the second in command. She had come to the same conclusion Yuki did. She knew they were in a critical situation. The alarm bells in her mind told her so. Now with Yuki's instruction given, she knew what she had to do. Things were urgent, and she knew it was no time to argue with him. We'll abandon this place and head for the Composite Division's encampment. But what about Sir Yuki? Oh, don't worry about me. I doubt Damrata would let me leave anyway. So I'm gonna have to deal with him here. You guys get going. Yuki turned his back to the crowd so he could face Damrata. We're off, Kigali ordered. Roger. And they all just... Everyone realized what they had to do. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Whether Damrata betrayed them or not didn't matter now. Once they saw Yuki turn around, they knew he was ready for anything. The time for debate was over. Right now, as all the superpowers in the room knew, job one was just to survive. Alia carried the fallen Tornawat. The sight of a dainty little girl picking up a muscle-bound giant was chuckle-inducing, but no one was laughing. The healer cast some magic on Tornawat as they joined the line of fleeing rebels, and then, in perfectly orderly fashion, they all blended in the darkness of the night. A few minutes later, Yuki and Damrata were the only ones left in the vast meeting hall. It's too late to run away now, I think. You always did blow the landing that way, Sir Yuki. I think you're underestimating the IIB here. Maybe I am. But if I struggle hard enough, maybe I can find a way out of this, you know? Don't make me laugh. This isn't a children's game, you know? Of course not. I'm always serious. Including with your fairy tale dreams of conquering the world. Hell yeah. And you're the same, aren't you? Damrata gave that chuckle. Or that a chuckle. Yes. He bellowed from the bottom of his heart. Exactly. Yuki Kagurazaka was, to Damrata, a good boss. He still had a childish mind that caused him to make immature decisions at times. But he also had his cool-headed side. He was incredibly calculating in personality, and no matter how things turned out, life was certainly never boring under him. That's why Damrata trusted him. He trusted that right now, he must realize that Kondo was controlling him like a puppet. Some asterisks. At the same time, Damrata's loyalty to the Emperor Ludora was completely genuine. He recognized and approved of Yuki, but his feelings for Ludora were something completely different. They weren't comparable at all. To Damrata, Emperor Ludora was everything. Right now, he was acting in accordance with his promise to Ludora. Fulfilling that promise was what he pinned his whole life on. He knew Ludora longer than Kondo did, and it was admittedly careless of him to think Kondo wouldn't touch him. He was aware that he was under suspicion. That's why he had been so careful. But it seemed that Kondo was even more dangerous than Damrata thought. Immediately after he said his final goodbyes to Misha, Damrata's will was put under Kondo's control. How he did it, Damrata couldn't say, but no matter how or what he tried, he was unable to break it. His consciousness remained fully intact, but every aspect of his actions was now dictated by Kondo. I had no idea that bastard Kondo would take over my own body, too. Anyone will tell you how cautious he is, but I didn't think he'd take matters this far. Sir Yuki has truly outdone himself. If he couldn't deactivate his body control on his own, the only hope left was to rely on Yuki. He needed to make Yuki aware of his situation, but that posed a major challenge. No matter how you looked at it, this was clearly Damrata betraying the entire movement. It was just asking too much, and Damrata himself was about to give up on the idea. But Yuki noticed it. He did an incredible job. It moved Damrata deeply, even as he could only say what Kondo allowed him to. Allow me, Sir Yuki, to show you the abilities of the Vice Commander of the Imperial Guardians. Restrictions were permission-based. They put blocks on what Damrata could do, But despite that, Damrata tried to relay as much information as he could to Yuki, providing his rank was one such attempt. He had to let Yuki know as much as he could give him, and after that, Yuki could utilize it as he pleased. Convinced this was the right way, Damrata decided to pin his hopes on Yuki. If he kills me after that, it'll all be over. The promise I made to Emperor Ludora will be taken on by Sir Yuki, I assume. A pity I can't see it with my own eyes, but he was sure that Yuki would carry on his will. If Yuki ever wanted to fulfill his lofty ambitions, he'd have to carry out Damrata's objectives as well. He didn't have high hopes, but they were hopes nonetheless. Oh, don't worry about it. I still have work for you to do, you know. I'll help you out of this. And that's the kind of infantile nonsense you've got for me. You don't stand a chance. Controlled or not, nothing could erase the joyful feeling welling up in his heart. Just as that heart desired, Damrata unleashed his emotions. All right, we got to a dot. Should I continue?
Moon, how are you feeling?
I'm all right.
You sound like you've sobered up considerably.
Yeah. I process alcohol very quickly.
Okay. If you think you're good to
That's
start
a good
reading,
skill.
then you can start reading.
Mm.
But if you don't
Okay.
feel like you're entirely up to it, I'll have Shim read some more because we did start pretty late.
Mm-hmm.
And he can keep going.
I think I'm good.
All right.
Okay.
So are we at the over
yeah.
30 warriors?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's exactly where we are.
All right.
Yep.
All right, go for it.
Over 30 warriors were running. Over 30 warriors were running along the main thoroughfare of the imperial capital. Led by Kigali, they were attempting to flee the city at night, just as Yuki ordered them to regroup with the composite division. The division was camped near the Empire's border with the Dwarven Kingdom. Over 300
Dude.
miles southwest of the capital, merchant caravans would need over 10 days to travel that distance. Those with enough magic force could use one of the transport gates laid out around the city, a first-rate piece of magical technology that allowed travel between support cities in an instant. But they couldn't push 100 people through at once, and given their importance, they were kept under heavy guard. Storming one this late at night would obviously lead to warfare. Thus, without hesitation, Kigali decided to go it on her own. Rather than stir up trouble here, she decided that strengthening her force's position came first. Everyone in this group was far more powerful than your average human being. If they kept running without any breaks, they could reach their destination in a few hours. Are you all right, Lady Kigali? Kigali? Yeah. Yes, everything's fine. Thanks for your concern, Tyr. Oh, it was Tyr. Okay.
It's
Kigali
hard to-
nodded at Tyr, a young masked woman who was running next to her. As the former demon lord Kazalim, Kigali spent years in only her spiritual body after Leon defeated her. She was not a spiritual life form yet, and it took everything she had to maintain her sense of presence. But she made it through, and thanks to Yuki, she finally obtained a homunculus body for herself. One she had no problem training to become as matchlessly powerful as she was before. Thanks to that, she was now equivalent to a high-level magic-born in fighting strength, one who'd never lag behind the rest of this group. Oh, well good then. Would have been nice if Lapis were here right now. Yes, I'm sure he could have beaten Damrata even. Well, our boss is no pushover either. I'm sure he'll be back with us shortly, after he wins. You said it. Yep, he absolutely will. Kigali flashed a smile, but inwardly she knew her panic was growing. Those alarm bells were still going off, making her anxiety balloon in size. This is not good at all. It was an instinctive hunch. Kigali couldn't count the number of times it had saved her life. She knew she had to do something about it, even if she had no real evidence yet. So she turned toward Tyr and Footman, her most trusted companions here. Contact Lapis for me. What? Tell him to come back here. It was no problem for Tyr and Footman to contact Lapis via telepathy. No matter how separated they were, the clowns were always connected to each other. Lapis is on a messenger run, but I don't care. Hurry up! The alarm bells only Kigali could hear began to ring louder. There was no time to explain, she decided. Leaving Tyr behind, she moved on to her next order. Everyone disperse. Survival's your top priority. Take any measures you see fit to... She was ordering them to find their own ways back to the composite division, but she never had the chance. as she now realized it was already too late. What a surprise, I thought. What a surprise. I thought I eliminated any sign of my presence. You did well to notice me. A man in a military uniform emerged from the darkness. It was Lieutenant Kondo, and with him, a group of operatives silently rappelling down the buildings lining the main street. There were about 50 in all, but each one exuded a presence that was nothing short of overwhelming. Imperial Guardians. That's right. Cease your futile resistance and surrender at once. If you do, I'll give you the honor of dying for His Majesty the Emperor. So you admit it then, Lieutenant? You're the commander of the Imperial Guardians? Kondo's expression remained blank. He neither confirmed nor denied it, but to Kagali, that was enough. Kagali's group crowded together, keeping careful watch of the knights surrounding them. Combat was no longer avoidable. Each one of them was armed to the teeth, covered head to toe in Legend-class armor. Perhaps both sides were evenly matched, but the difference in gear was as clear as day. It was a dizzying disadvantage to have, but none of Yuki's troops would give up at this point. Ha! Huh. No. Ha! Let's do it, huh? This'll just save us time later. Right. Let's see what the Guardians can... No, that's... Ha! Let's do it, huh? This'll just save us time later. Right. Let's see what the Guardians can really do. Tornwat had been at death's door a few minutes ago, but now he was keyed up, and Elia was following his lead. As superpowered as they all were, they had no intention of admitting defeat without attempting anything. In the meantime, Kagali was desperately analyzing the situation. The probability of them all surviving was practically zero at this stage. The only tactical victory they could gain was to transport as many comrades over to the composite division camp as possible. To achieve that, they'd need to buy some time until Yuki could defeat Dumrata, until Lapis could return to pitch in. Time, precious time, was what Kagali realized they needed the most. Well, I hope one of the two make it in time, but let's see what happens. She took a step
It's
toward
always
Kondo.
at the beginning of the sound alerts that it just keeps repeating. So hang on, I gotta fix that real quick. Dang it.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Audacity.
Let me know.
All right, keep going.
Okay. She took a step toward Kondo. Oh, you want to be my opponent? You're walking towards me. Oh, JoJo's reference. Yes.
Very good.
I want to see for myself what the head of the Guardians is capable of. Kagali understood that her own strength was far below Kondo's, but her objective was to serve herself up as a decoy. Even if I can't win, if I can at least carve out some time. With that thought in mind, she steeled herself, facing Kondo. The lieutenant, on the other hand, seemed all but oblivious to her, sighing at the sight of the combat beginning around him. I detest waste. I have no intention of putting up with your stalling attempts. And you need to understand that wanting it more won't help you win a war. You think? Because I think if you pray enough, you might just see a miracle. Imagine an ex-demon lord raving so incoherently. Kagali sneered back. Only a very few companions were supposed to know that she used to be a demon lord. But Kondo just blared it out for the world to hear. To put it another way, he must have decided it was just too insignificant to keep a secret. You're really looking down on me, aren't you? I'm not intending to, but let me tell you something else. I imagine you're trying to regroup with the composite division, but don't bother. His Majesty himself has just organized a force to set out to defeat them. The Emperor, going off to battle, was an extremely unusual state of affairs. But what caught Kagali's attention more was the force being organized. What did you expect? Only the strong matter to us. If you swear loyalty to His Majesty, then fine. But a bunch of minnows with no chance to evolve? No thank you.
Okay, I think
What
I
do you
finally
mean?
fixed it.
Cool.
Right.
Am I not getting through to you? The only reason you're being kept alive right now is because you still have the potential to evolve. All of this is going according to His Majesty's plan. Don't give me that! Are you saying you knew our entire scheme? Kagali was furious. Kondo just gave her a resentful look. What a silly question. Or did you think you were pulling the wool over our eyes here in the capital? A dim, angry flame lit itself in Kagali's heart, the flame of humiliation. With her unique skill, Schemer, Kagali had formulated a wealth of plans, succeeding in most of them. She had made a number of mistakes recently, mostly in relation to Rimuru, but she was proud to be Yuki's close confidant and chief strategist. But Kondo just sniffed at all that. How dare a mere human, or no, how dare a mere human like you talk that way? A mere human? Do you mean Yuki Kagarizaka? The wave of intense anger, like a rush of blood to her head, nearly blinded Kagali. But she could see that this was just Kondo executing his plan. If she let her anger get the better of her, it cost her a potentially winnable battle. As proof of that, Footman was now attacking Kondo like berserker. Perhaps inspired by Kagali's anger. He was the most powerful attacker among the clowns, and now he was unleashing massive missiles of magic, not sparing a moment to consider the damage to the city. Kondo avoided them without much of a fuss, but now sirens were going off. There would be panic in the streets before long. At this rate, the rebels would have to deal with Guardian security forces and curious onlookers, all at the same time. Kagali saw no reason now to mind her manners. They'd have to treat anyone in their way as enemies and blow them away. But Kondo and his men were just as aware of that. Why was Kondo allowing this to happen then? Kagali wasn't sure. Stay calm. Chill out. He's just trying to piss me off. She had seen through his scheme, and all she had to do was not play along. So she stifled her anger. But then, out of nowhere, she felt a great unease, as if she had overlooked something serious. Wait. Damrata was under someone's control. That was Kondo's doing. Both Footman and Tyr were now joining the battle. Around them, Yuki's comrades were in a pitched battle to the death against the Guardians. Not even that was enough to change Kondo's expression. He was now holding a revolver in his hand, produced from parts unknown, and a sword was in his left. That was his approach against Footman and Tyr, both outclassing a demon lord in force, and he still seemed fully relaxed. They had expected him to be powerful, but this was beyond all expectations. He must outclass Damrata, Kagali sensed, realizing all over again how much of a threat this was. He had his gun out, but he didn't show any intention to shoot, engaging Footman and Tyr with his sword alone. Even Kagali could tell that it was a masterful weapon, but what she didn't know was that, despite appearing to be a standard issue sword from the Imperial Japanese Navy, the blade itself was a work of art, boasting a beautiful rippled streak along the edge that was mesmerizing to look at. It was a family heirloom, handed down through Kondo's family for generations. No cheap imitation of amateur would bandy around. That is a weird word.
That is weird.
This was, of course, not the kind of weapon you'd wield with one hand. But Kondo was doing just that, holding the lower part of the hilt with his left. It was hard to believe he'd normally carry it this way, suggesting that he wasn't demonstrating his true ability with it yet. This man is a menace. He's taking both of them on, and he's not even trying to fight seriously yet. But why, though? If he wanted to kill them, he'd be far more engaged than this. If he's not, then maybe he sees some kind of value to us? In other words, then Kagali arrived at the answer. Look out! She immediately shouted. Kondo might be able to control people somehow. You're right. She thought he'd deny it, but he didn't. It was unnerving. So he's just revealing his hand. No, there's no point denying it. If we already suspect as much, if he affirms it though, that makes us warier of him. I don't get it. Why? Now, Kagali wasn't sure what to believe. Kondo's behavior was beyond her understanding. She couldn't figure out her next move. If fighting wasn't going to bring them victory, it should have been best to stick to the original stall for time strategy, she thought, but she had no clue why Kondo was just going along with it. No, it's just not right. He said he wasn't going to put up with our attempts at stalling, so why? Wait, that's what he meant. It was only then that Kagali realized just how much of a menace Kondo truly was. Everything he said had intrinsic meaning to it, she realized. And though the lies he had weaved, and through the lies he had weaved, he was fully controlling every aspect of this fight they had. You're stalling for time. Oh, you finally noticed. You see how I'm helping you with your silly attempts at buying time now. It's too easy to decipher the thoughts of someone like you see. Despite her attempts at remaining calm, close taunts were hitting home. Don't give me that. Do you know why they called me the mysterious figure stalking the halls of information? Dots. You said it yourself, didn't you? You just said I could control other people. So why don't you also see that it's simple for me to obtain information from the people under my control? What is he talking about? As astonished Kagali wondered. Kagali wondered. It sounded too amateurish to be a lie. But if it were true, it was a tremendously
I
important
was wondering
secret to
who
leak out.
Kongali was.
It was... You know, Kagali. Hey. Kagali.
Hey.
Hey!
I was thinking like
Oh.
DK Kong, Donkey Kong.
DK.
DK! It's Donkey Kongali!
The Kongali.
Kong.
DK.
Hey.
I don't know.
Kongali.
I kind of like the Congo. I
Yeah.
kind of like the Conga line bit better because I can hear Cuba Pete in my head already.
I was just hoping that
Cuba
she...
Pete. It's the king of
Yeah.
Marimba.
Rumba beat.
When they've got go chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom. Yay!
Oh, God.
All
It's like to think
sorry.
that in the battle, Kondo and them are
Okay.
fighting, and then he's like, huh, we should finish this, huh? And she just goes, yeah.
This is weird for me because I'm having to read this in panic and like it's getting my adrenaline up and it's doing weird things with my drunk brain.
My
Get
brain's
hyped.
going through a lot
Ooh.
of things right now.
Oh yeah. But if it were true, it was a tremendously important secret to leak out.
Mm.
It was hard to believe that such a careful man would do something to expose his own hand like that. This is a hassle for me as well, you know. Not even I know everything. The plan was to make contact with you all on the outskirts of the city. We'd hardly want collateral damage inside the capital, and going easy on you in battle like this is more trouble than it's worth. Going easy? You think that little of us, do you? Kondo's statement elicited further enraged excitement from Tyr and Footman. They were being taken in by his scheme, and Kagali knew how bad an idea that was. Her agitation grew. Calm down. No. Calm down, you two. Don't let his words disturb you. She tried to stop them from going too out of control. Kondo shot her a glance, looking less than amused. Then, after a quick glance at his revolver, he put it back on his belt, for reasons only he knew. What a pain. Come on, allow me to neutralize you as a threat without killing you. The moment he grasped his sword with both hands, the atmosphere changed completely. Now, his aura was something only a true master could achieve. Okay. Tyr, allow me to take over here. Let's go, human. Oh no, that was probably okay. Tyr, allow me to take over here. Let's go, human. The two of them together struck such a presence that even those fighting around them felt pressured into stopping. Kondo kept his sword high, pointed up in the air as he quietly gauged his foe. Footman, meanwhile, seemed to be ignoring any semblance of defense. His aura coursed across his body, shooting him forward like a gigantic bullet. He pinballed around, showing amazing agility for his well-nourished body. Then, accelerating with every bounce off the ground, he jumped around the vicinity of Kondo, erratically hopping from landing point to landing point and growing faster all the time. Try to follow me if you can. Convinced he was exercising his full potential, Footman unleashed his finishing move on Kondo. The secret to his battle technique was the unique skill amplifier, and that, in essence, is what it did. Whether the movement took waveform or existed as mass, he could accelerate it at will, simply bouncing off something sped up his body. And he could amplify his weight as well, giving himself mass far greater than how he looked. The sheer kinetic energy this generated could likely tear any enemy to pieces. Take this, angry splatter! With absolute confidence and destructive power on his side, Footman lunged for Kondo. But without the slightest change of expression, Kondo unleashed a skill of his own. I've just executed Thundering Universe. You had best consider it an honor. The quiet announcement was heard only after it was all over. In a single instant, Footman's arms and legs had been severed. The action was far too quick to catch with the naked eye. It'd be absolutely impossible to pull off were it not for the awe-inspiring difference in ability at play. His head was still attached, but there was now blood spurting out from a gaping wound across his neck. Not even that would be enough to kill Footman, but he was understandably out of his battle. And you're Tyr, aren't you? Bind his arms and legs and stop the bleeding out of his neck while you're at it. I can't have him dying on me yet. The order was given flatly, without emotion. The revolver was back in his right hand again. He was back to his original style. His body language indicated that he wasn't interested in fighting anybody else. What? No, what? What are you thinking? I'm not going to kill any of you. Especially you, Kagali. Or the ex-Demon Lord Kazalim, I should say. Or the ex-Demon Lord Kagali, I should say. Kazalim, I should say. You have a lot of value to us. We can't afford to have you dead. Come on. You think I'm going to do that after what you've done? I'm not asking for forgiveness. Didn't I tell you that I can control other people? How loathsome of a man was he, even? Kagali eyed him hatefully. His manner of speaking irritated her to no end. She thought she had the right idea about all this, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she didn't. Every word Kondo uttered got on her nerves. Blah. Then a red burst of light emerged from Kondo's handgun. Seeing this, Kondo smiled a little. A tiny, easily overlooked smile. Kagali was amazed he could smile at all, but at the same time, she sensed the biggest alarm bell yet. It was true. He really was stalling. It was far too late to realize that. She abhorred being toyed with for this long, but still, Kagali searched for the best way out of this. It was clear Kondo had all his cards in order, although she didn't know what they were. It was impossible to escape. Even buying any more time was a challenge. And so, there was just one choice to take. All Kagali could do was strike at the source of at this danger, the calamity about to befall her friends. In other words, a suicide strike. Death, she determined, was the best way to prevent information leaks. As a walking dead, though, Kagali could not truly cease to exist. She'd lose her physical body, yes, but as long as she inhabited someone else, she'd survive. Footman and Tyr would realize what she meant to do, no doubt. They were walking dead as well, and just like Kagali, literally dying was unlikely. If all of them advanced upon Kondo at the same time, they'd fulfill their objective, without revealing their intentions to him. Even if they all lost their bodies, they'd be able to escape and avoid the worst-case scenario. Such was Kagali's decision, the best chip she had to play right now. But how annoying. Suriyuki went through all this trouble to obtain my body. It took a while for me to settle in, too. Although it beats losing it all anyway. I hate to involve Footman and Tyr in this, but I'll see that they receive stronger bodies next time. Her mind was made up. Lapis, she believed, would help clean up later. Kondo was just too strong, unexpectedly so. Based on her current assessment, Kagali believed he and Lapis were an even match. That, or Kondo had a slight advantage. Even if he made it here and they fought together, that still wouldn't assure victory. It'd be foolish to put Lapis in danger as well, she reasoned. What she wondered about was just how Kondo managed to take over other people's minds. She wanted to flee after finding that out, but that might just be too greedy of her. So putting aside her doubts, she sprang into action. Well, just look at how much this human's toyed with us. Nope, that's okay. Well, just look how much this human's toyed with us, huh, Footman? Tyr, stop playing with him, and let's give him everything we've got, and you'll get to see the full powers of the one they used to call a demon lord. Kagali stretched out her aura across her body, exercising power beyond all her limits. A borrowed body like this one, had no chance of withstanding this. It'd be lucky to survive another few minutes. But this way, at least, she could settle this without Kondo thinking she chose to end her own life. Footman and Tyr, seeing Kagali's move, immediately understood her plans. No. Hold on. Okay. It'll take more than blowing my limbs off to stop me. Yeah, and I'm still in this too. I haven't gone all out in ages upon ages either. It's so exciting. Footman, following Kagali's lead, balled up his body and started bouncing around. Tyr began unleashing her aura as well, blowing up into a massive presence in the middle of the capital. If Kondo could be convinced this was a suicide strike aimed at taking both sides out, the strategy would be a success. But despite the situation he was in, Kondo didn't even bat an eye. He remained calm and measured as he sheathed his sword and spot-checked his revolver. Then, as casual as can be, he immediately rained all over Kagali's parade. So I understand that Walking Dead can survive in spiritual form alone. It was a statement they ignored at their peril. Among their companions, only Yuki knew the trio's exact species. It was highly confidential intel, something not even Damrata was aware of. Nobody, not even Kondo, could have possibly known about it. Why do you... War is something that fully ends before it begins, one could say. The armored division was wiped out because they underestimated the enemy and skimped on information gathering. If you simply run wild without any precise intelligence to go on, you're all but guaranteeing your own defeat. Don't you agree? Silence. And by the way, I have to say that your comrade in arms was tremendously disappointed as well. I had him all set up at the exact right timing. And then some upstart demon lord completely bowls him over. Hardly a demon lord at all, I'd say. It makes me laugh. What? But him losing was more convenient in the end, I suppose. I have a basic grasp on what went on over there, and it led to the creation of someone far more fascinating than Clayman anyway. What the hell do you mean by that? Kagali exploded with anger. Any shred of remaining calm was thrown out the window. Her hatred for the man before her, Lieutenant Kondo, made her forget everything else. This was no less than a full confession that Kondo had total control over Clayman. Looking back, Clayman had clearly lost his mind over time, a trend that progressed for at least several decades according to Lapis.
So you get what's happening here? You get what was just said? All of the stuff that happened in season 2 with Clayman, that wasn't Clayman.
Bigger puppet.
That was literally Kondo, like, taking over Clayman's mind and making him do everything. Oh no, puppeteering would be kinder. That would mean Clayman had at least some control over himself. No, Kondo literally hijacked this motherfucker's brain.
Well,
damn,
that makes things complicated.
Yeah, it wasn't actually Clayman that did all this.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
Fuck.
yes, damn.
I mean, that still doesn't excuse the fact that Clayman sent all his forces after Urizania and all this other stuff and tried to have like, he had it coming, but, like, guys, Clayman was supposed to be, like, this devious, scheming, careful demon lord. And
And
look at what happened to just the Walpurgis alone. That was like
Phew.
all of those actions were not very cold and crafty and calculated. None of that was very Clayman-esque. So, yeah. Now we peel the curtain back another layer and see
Yep.
more of our true enemy.
The plot thickens.
Oh no.
What?
Oh no. Wait until the next two curtains get pulled. Again, that's why I said another curtain and not the curtain, because the curtain is still there. Oh boy. Can't wait to get to volume 16.
Yeah, we got a ways to go, but it's
Yeah,
gonna be
but-
some crazy shit.
Yeah, bud. All
Some
right.
shit's gonna go down.
Let's go.
Curtainception.
It's
Hold
going to
on.
be great. Curtainception. God damn. Bwom.
Wow.
Wah.
Wow.
Oh, hang on. Who removed? Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, Nightbot did that because you used too many emotes.
Yeah.
No.
You can't emote too much. You can't
That's all it
emote
was.
it too hard.
Is Kondo dissing our Lord Slime Rimuru? That title, that little, yeah, exactly. Yeah, your nothing about your post was wrong. It was just too many emotes. The thing is, when we first started streaming on this channel, there was just spamming of emotes, and we weren't ready for that. So, treat your emotes carefully, or your emojis, as it were.
Use them in moderation.
Yeah.
Emojis.
That's all.
Okay.
Oh,
Kagali assumed it was just the stress of becoming a demon lord, chiding herself for being overprotective of him. But if it was all Kondo's doing, that was a different story. It meant that Kondo had a hand in virtually every failure in her plans, and that was hard to forgive. Worst of all, it was Kondo's manipulation that sent her beloved Clayman to his demise. Pardon. He has to pay. I'll never let this pass. Her anger was nothing she or anyone else could control. Footman, sensitive to pits.
Sorry, I saw Fenris's
also picked
comment.
up on
Why
it,
can't I
and
force
thus
you all to
amplified it
hydrate?
further.
I've been doing it.
Drink, damn you, drink!
My water thing is empty, so it's gonna take me a second to
Oh, I have to
hydrate.
go get a bottle of
So-
water, actually.
Yeah,
Hold on.
that's a good note.
Okay.
I need to get a bottle of water. Keep going.
Yep. hold
I'm
on,
still
hold on.
here.
Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah. Footman amplified it further. In the end, ironically, that was exactly what Kondo was hoping for, or aiming for, even. Getting emotional in the middle of battle. What a novice mistake.
Oh.
If that's all the resolve you have, no wonder it was so easy to lead you to a trap like this.
Let me know when you get to
With
the
that.
dot.
Okay.
Okay.
With that, Kondo pulled the trigger. Ah! There was a small bang. Kagali jumped back. There was no blood. This was a very special bullet, affecting not the body, but the mind. It was called a Dominion bullet, a treasure granted by Emperor Ludora, and it was one of Kondo's secret techniques. Each bullet contained a part of Ludora's own power, making it capable of enthralling and controlling others. However, it worked on just one person at a time, and it was very likely not to work against those with strong mental fortitudes. Kondo had an ample supply, but he still had to be very careful about how he used them. If a shot missed the mark, it'd both expose his hand to the enemy and cost him control over whoever he last shot with the Dominion bullet. Using one to take over a demon lord's mind required targeting them while asleep or in an agitated state, blinded by lust or by negative emotions like anger or grief. Once they were in the right condition, he could fire a Dominion bullet to gain full control. Well, it took long enough. But we're still sticking to the plan, Kagali. Still sticking to the plan. Kagali, order your cohorts to cease hostilities immediately. You're a careful person, so I assume you've implanted a locking curse on the summoned. Yes, Sir Kondo. Drop the sir, please. Lieutenant is fine. Yes, Lieutenant Kondo, as you wish. Thus, Kagami fell into Kondo's hands, and just as Kondo predicted, the souls of Yuki's comrades all had a locking curse etched on them. The same was also true of Tyr and Footman, and thus they could not disobey the words of their commander, Kagami. Not everyone on hand had this locking curse, but it was quickly clear just how doomed they were. Better, they reasoned, to be captured than try to resist this horde. Silence returned to the darkness of the capital. If you want to hate anyone, hate yourselves for being so powerless. Everyone has their own sense of what makes right, but only when integrated into a stronger will can it be acted upon. The same is true for one's ideals. Your ambitions all vanished in the face of His Majesty's just cause. Nothing more and nothing less. This was the one true rule, survival of the fittest. Kondo was well aware of it. Of course, those who are not prepared to be crushed in the end aren't even qualified to have ambitions at all. That does not apply to you, so I'll be sure to remember your disappointments for you. Kondo himself lived with a certain resolve. That's why he never made fun of Kagami and her friends for what they attempted. If he lost, as he knew and understood from experience, he'd suffer the exact same fate. Dot.
Okay. Sonic,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be taking over from here. Here's what I
All
want
right.
you to do. You're not reading, you're acting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this time around, don't rush through things. It's fine. Take your time. I want you to act all of this stuff. Consider this, think of this like an audition. It's not actually like an audition for anything, but like,
Just pretend.
no, I want people to know why it is that I brought you on here initially. You auditioned for me, and I brought you into this fucking thing. So, display the skills that you have to show
Good
them why
thing
you're
I have
in
a
Fat
fresh
Dog.
water.
There you go. We're doing.
Quate.
We are doing, literally, what would be considered an audiobook.
Dang, should I put the booth up and everything
You don't have to
while I'm
get
at it?
you don't have to get overly professional.
Should I stand?
Should I save it as a .wav file, Richie?
I don't.
Do
you're
you
not-
want an MP3 or a .wav?
It's a. All right. First off, it's
Wave
wave.
file.
I know.
It's a
I know.
wave
You told
file.
me that at the very beginning.
I'm gonna
I was like, you
stab
want a
you.
WAV file?
You mean a wave file?
It's no
Yeah,
E, so
that was the
welfare,
very
yeah.
first day
All
we
right,
talked.
guys.
You told me it was a WAV file.
Guys,
Yes.
it is his turn to act. I don't
The
need.
Emperor
You're not-
needs to cook his goblins.
Let him cook. All right. Anyway,
You got this.
I'm going to say this. We're not worried about technical stuff as far as like your setup and all that stuff. You don't have to worry about how it sounds. I'm looking for your
I was hoping the
acting.
connection's good because I noticed it's kind of been jumping in and out here
No,
and there.
yours is good so far.
Okay.
It's mostly on Moon's End that he's been jumping in and out.
I've just been here. Okay.
Because
So what?
I thought I heard
your
Mr.
internet
Word
is
for
sometimes
Shin, too, I
crap,
don't know.
and we've gotten used to that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've upgraded it too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
outside of eventually
So how,
moving.
wait. Was there problems with everything I was reading?
Was
No.
there?
No.
No.
I don't know.
The
There were a
audio-
couple of there were a couple cuts, but then it was fine. It fixed
Like
itself.
one
so-
word
Yeah.
would be missed, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
it
you
wasn't
can,
that bad.
You can fill in the blank of what you said, basically.
Yeah,
We're- we're
my
essentially
roommate was
not a
watching
replacement.
NCIS streaming, so
Gotcha.
that it was.
We always have to state this. We are not replacing the actual of you reading of it.
Yeah, like
Nope.
literally, we are
Even
not
though
a
he said
replacement.
audiobook earlier.
We are not a replacement for the light novels. Our acting is going to be a thing that you can only get here, obviously.
Mhm.
Think of this more as book club.
Yeah, it's kind of a book club.
Yeah.
Shit,
Yeah.
instead of calling it light novel reading, I just might call it the Slime Book Club from now on, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's actually a pretty good
That'd be a good
idea.
way to do it.
Yeah, but you'll have to remind me about that because I'm not going to remember it next week. Anyway. Ladies
I
and
admit,
gentlemen of
there's
the
a coin flip by doing
congregation, welcome to the Slime Book Club. God damn it.
I don't know. It doesn't sound as grandiose, I guess, if you call it a book club.
Grandiose.
Well, I guess what you could do is like, welcome to our book club. Just like you drop it as soon as you say that.
Welcome to our book club.
A book club. There you go.
Book
Get
club.
smarmy with it. Yeah.
Get smarmy
That's
with it.
perfect.
Yes.
All right, take it over now. By the way, we're not too far away. We're at 236 out of 252 of the physical novel. So we're like less than 20 away here, guys. We're somewhere around. Yeah, we're like maybe
Very nice.
We're 16 pages from being done, so we should be good.
Sounds good.
Yeah. We might actually finish this chapter tonight.
We chewed through it pretty fast.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a lot to begin with. It was only like 50.
Yeah, that's
pages.
fair. That's fair.
Chapter 4 looks to be a bit longer than that. Chapter 4 will be 255 all the way to the
that's
end,
a lot more.
past the epilogue. No, not 255 pages. It starts at 255 and it ends at 323. So
okay.
it's a little over 50, somewhere around 60.
I'm gonna run to the restroom and get water. I will be right back.
Go for it. 60 something pages in the next one. So we might actually be able to finish that chapter next week and just end volume 13 next week. Or, sorry, 14 next week.
Finally put the knife in it.
Yeah. All right. Let's go, buddy.
Okay.
Yuki and Dumrata were deep in a fierce battle, exchanging one blow, then another for what seemed like the millionth time. Without hesitation, Dumrata aimed a spinning back blow at the pressure point on Yuki's face. It was blocked with a palm. Yuki attempted to gain control of Dumrata's wrist, but he was denied as his opponent unleashed a chop to hold him back. Yuki anticipated this, twisted his upper body back as he executed a double kick, but Dumrata was quick to pick up on it, sinking down and seeping with his leg. Then his opponent jumped up, perhaps reading this counter in advance, and tried to take his head off with a spinning kick. However, Yuki's leg cut through thin air. Dumrata was back on his feet and a safe distance away. It was a sophisticated, refined exchange of martial arts that went beyond the scope of what human beings could maneuver. I was right the first time, dang it. They kept rattling them off, again and again, at a pace so regular that they almost seemed to be in a training session. But they were going too fast for the normal human eye to follow. The lack of spectators was a... But then again, they'd have trouble rounding up an audience with the skill required to watch and appreciate them. Here was a battle between dedicated masters, fought only with their own well-honed bodies. But that wasn't all that was taking place. Yuki was also trying to communicate with Dumrata, not with speech, but through thought telepathy. Dumrata, in turn, was trying to help Yuki with that. That's why there was so much unnecessary physical contact. When they went hand against hand for an instant, that's when they were exchanging messages. Why does that remind me of Naruto and Sasuke? I don't know why, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a thing with them at some point. I don't know. I was picturing that when I was reading that. Like, this feels like... First it was Kondo and Footman with the whole Luffy doing the one punch thing back in... I don't remember the island and whatever. But then this. It's very weird. Wow. We're finally connected, huh? I didn't expect you to gain an ultimate skill as well, Dumrata. You had no idea how much trouble I had opening a telepathy link to you. Have you had this since we met, perhaps? It was borrowed, Sir Yuki. But yes, I've been in possession of it for as long as we've known each other. I don't use it very often, however, so I doubt you would have. Okay. I don't use it very often, however, so I doubt you would have noticed. Yuki couldn't help but snicker at this. When he awakened his own ultimate skill, only then did he realize the mind-boggling difference between them and regular unique skills. Still, there was something in Dumb Rada's reply that he couldn't gloss over. Borrowed? What do you mean? Skills like these were, by nature, acquired by yourself. Some people could craft them like Yuki, but they couldn't just be conjured out of nowhere. They were using their own desires to change the form of the power within their soul. It wasn't something you could just borrow. I mean exactly what I said. My power was granted to me by His Majesty. Is that even possible? I understand your skepticism. Skepticism. There. But you have me as a witness to it. You'll have to accept that as possible, yes? Oh, you'll have to accept that. Accept that is a possible. Is that possible? That's possible. I don't know why I'm thinking possibility there. You'll have to accept that is possible, yes? Wait a minute. Is that supposed to be a question? You'll have to accept that as a possibility, as possible. Okay, whatever. I see. Fair point. Having it phrased that way, Yuki had no choice but to accept it. That naturally led to his next question. Okay, that was a question. So can he just pass on skills to anyone he wants? Oh no. Dumrata smiled. The average person does not have the capacity to obtain even a unique skill, much less an ultimate one. Simply accepting that power requires an enormous amount of energy. You need to completely remake the way You need to completely remake the way other worlders are to pull it off. Well, that's a relief. I was worried the Emperor was holding a closeout sale on ultimate skills. I mean, like, what is this, a ultimate skill bargain sale or something? I'm sorry, I had to make the joke. No, he hasn't managed that yet. It's one of his objectives, however. Yuki could accept that. And that's why he's gathering all these strong people? Precisely. Humans, too, can evolve after enough training. Their entire species change, and they become enlightened. As a saint, Sir Yuki, I believe you know the process. Pretty much, yeah. He had a general understanding. Humans can go from enlightened to sainthood, and that took more than a regular old training. Even the 10 great saints, deemed the strongest in the Western nations, had just 2 real saints among them, Hinata and Sar. Only becoming enlightened can one break free from the... hang on. Do that again. Only upon becoming enlightened can one break free from the framework of humanity, where they must live among their own kind. They remain an individual, but also gain the ability to connect with the world at large. Those who reach that state here become Imperial Guardians. Having passed the minimum requirements, His Majesty has put in having passed the minimum requirements His Majesty has put in place. Being enlightened's the minimum requirement? Yes, that's right. If you fought against Sir Yuki, then you understood just how strong he was, I assume. Even a saint could never beat him. Yeah, I'll grant you that. Guy was simply unassailable. That much was made perfectly clear taking him on. No half-ass attempt would even touch him. If you want to defeat Guy, an absolute If you want to defeat Gi as an absolute minimum, you must awake to the ultimate in force. An ultimate skill, in other words. It made sense to Yuki. That came across more strongly to him now that he had an ultimate skill of his own. The only way to tackle someone with an ultimate skill was to break out an ultimate skill of your own. Exactly. His Majesty is familiar with this as well. That is why he grants trials to those who are enlightened, to help them awaken further and become vessels worthy enough of the ultimate skill he can give them. Sounds pretty crazy, but if I were him, I'd do the same, I guess. I'm glad you understand so quickly. Take a sip. Yuki and Dumrata smiled at each other. It might be completely illogical to the average person, but Yuki saw the reasoning behind it. Once you had the methodology down, it could allow you to collect a large number of people with ultimate skills. He disliked how someone else beat him to the idea, but he had to admit it to its charms. Its charms. Okay. The only problem with this was that it required someone as uniquely qualified as Ludora to engineer. The fact that Ludora can grant ultimate powers at all is just amazing. Yes. It proves his greatness beyond any doubt. If you become a saint under his tutelage, His Majesty will grant you an ultimate skill alternative. The ultimate skill alternative. Dumrata's telepathic voice sounded so proud to Yuki. He could feel the respect Dumrata held for Emperor Ludora, and it made him laugh a little. Dumrata might have been loyal to Yuki still, but his feelings for the Emperor were a different matter. Yuki knew this was the case, although he really wished Dumrata hit it a little more. Of course, he normally never made that kind of mistake, so Yuki assumed he was acting this way on purpose right now. So is Ludora waging this war in order to awaken more of his knights? I suppose he would be. Our previous war was stymied. Stymied. That's a weird. Stymied?
Yeah, stymied is it means to like a sudden stop or a halt to something. Stymied.
Writers and their fancy.
It's a weird word.
Hey, fuck you! It's your fault for not knowing those fancy words. Maybe pick up a dictionary, asshole.
That's why I don't know.
That's more like a thesaurus, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Stymied is in the dictionary, motherfucker.
I'm just waiting for
It is, but it's not like he's making
everyone
words.
else uses.
Book.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being a reader of multiple forms of literature.
You should be.
Yeah, go fuck yourself and pick up a dictionary.
How's
and
that?
A thesaurus.
How far are you into that guardian or that guide to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the
Guardian's Fool?
I haven't started it yet, and I'm gonna put this one out here because this is, since you've decided to insult writers, I'm gonna come after you as an actor. Maybe if you want to get better as an actor, you should read up on more words so that you don't trip and stumble over these things. Now, notice what I did was a dig, but it was also helpful advice. Because
it's called constructive criticism.
Because I started out as an actor too. There's a lot of words out there, and you're not going to be able to give your director shit when you actually go out there and start auditioning for other projects and you don't understand a word. It's actually and I'm going to throw this out. Shim, please stop with the hand motions. That's like really distracting.
He's throwing these hands.
I'm gonna throw this out to everybody. Shit. I'm gonna throw this out to everybybody out there, okay? Who is trying to break into voiceover and the industry at large. It is exceptionally pleasing when a script comes out that has words that are not in common use. Alexa, shut up. And so that has words that are not commonly in use, and you know what they are and how to pronounce them, and you just make it seem smooth as butter. You don't have to ask. Like, the amount of times that I've heard auditions where people have said characters' names incorrectly, let alone just not knowing some basic words that they should know, or like, God bless if they were at like B. All right, we're not even at, we're at C tier level words here, guys. With most of our auditions, if I decide to put B tier or A tier, or here's another thing, don't even audition for Konosuba if you don't at least have some common vocabulary, or at least an above average vocabulary, because I'm not being kind with my word usage in there.
That is fair.
Kazuma
Here's
is
the
smart.
tip if you do. I will
Kazuma
give
is
off
smart.
a tip if you do. Do not be afraid to look up the pronunciations of words beforehand and study them.
Google them and
Yes.
let Google play it back. Yeah.
I have to do
that
that
is
while we're
very
reading
nice.
sometimes.
Kazuma is a
Wish I
smarty.
could
Have
do that
to.
for these with some of these words.
Kazuma is a smarty. Megumin is actually well read. Darkness is a fucking noble, and Aqua is a goddess. Every one of them walks around slinging a big dictionary.
It's just out there for everyone
It's
to
just
see.
out there, pages flapping.
Mayhaps thy intelligence has not, fuck.
Proliferated.
It's gone now.
I want everybody to also understand
The
something.
mood has been ruined.
Guys, I also want everybody to understand something. When you see the signs that say ye old this, ye old that, it's not actually pronounced ye. The ye is actually said the.
The old.
The old. Yeah.
The old.
The old haberdashery.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the old
Yes.
Diamond.
All right.
Or Steinman.
The old latrine.
All right.
Just looked up how to
Yeah, used to
Yeah.
be shit
fix
house.
that. Damn it.
All right, it's a good change.
It's only a
Good
shit house.
change. All right, keep going, guys. Sorry.
Okra.
Stymied. There we are.
Stymie.
Our previous war was stymied by interference from
you go.
Veldora. But that was a blessing in disguise. A few people evolved into enlightened in the process, so we gained even more power than we lost. Talk about patience. An impressed and jealous Yuki thought. Impressed and jealous Yuki thought. So the two of them shared thoughts with each other through telepathy as they fought. Or sparred, or whatever. Finally, Yuki managed to break through the last of Dumrada's psychological barriers. Oh, here we go. I found the core of the power controlling you. Ah, wonderful to hear. Do you think you can remove it? Yeah, no problem there. But if I do, won't Kondo find out? I imagine he will, yes. But I'm not sure I care. Well, here we go then. They hadn't been sparring for no reason. Dumrada knew about Yuki's anti-skill ability, and he believed it could overcome the thrall that Kondo put upon him. Yuki was aware of that as well, and without any further instruction, he had spent the past while probing Dumrada. Now he would use the new power awakened in him to bring his friend back to normal. Mammon, Lord of Greed, the ultimate skill Yuki had acquired, specialized in seizing things. It contained the ability Lifestealer, for example, which sapped energy on contact. Using it allowed Yuki to deal damage simply by punching and having it blocked. The exact type of energy taken...
Check.
Oh. I gotta crack my spine!
All right,
like I should just
continue.
reread that
Yeah,
sentence.
go ahead.
I was like, should I just read the word magic and then move on? But no.
Yeah, go for it.
Magical, physical, depended on the opponent. But whatever it was, Yuki could take it and use it for himself. Lifestealer didn't work on Dumrada, however. He had too much strength, and even under Kondo's control, he still managed that strength and
Condo, not condo.
Oops, condo.
Condo makes them sound like you're talking about an apartment or a condo.
I realized that. I was like, as
That's why
I
it's
keep
condo.
thinking or saying the
Condo.
word, I'm slowly drifting into condo.
Yeah, no.
Condo.
We're not talking about condominiums. His name is Kondo. Kondo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
God, how
you gotta
amazing
keep
would
up
that
with it.
be
It's the
for a
hard part.
Japanese like real estate agent that just managed condos to be named Kondo? That's literally what he's born to be.
All
Real
right,
estate or condo.
continuing on.
Yeah. All right, where was I? I joked.
Magic.
Soka.
So
Kondo-san.
Oh, you missed this one, so you'll have to do it yourself because the rest of us did. Posture check.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
Do your sweats.
I needed that, actually. Thank you.
He still maintained that strength in the best possible condition. Regardless of his mind's intentions, his body was doing the best it could to interfere with Yuki. That was thanks to Alternative, the ultimate gift provided by the Emperor. This skill protected his very soul, an impenetrable psychological barrier that nullified any kind of spiritual attack. This combined with absolute physical destructive skills that could penetrate all defenses. Oh, whoops. This combined with absolute physical destructive skills that could penetrate all defenses. Put them together, and Dumrata had become an undefeated champion in every way. Kondo was able to control him because the Dominion bullets the Emperor gave him were devised at a higher level than Alternative. Yeah, no, that's right. I don't know why I thought that was wrong for some reason.
No,
My
that's
bro's
right.
like, that's not the right word. Like, yeah, it is.
No, that's right. You're good.
Definitely not distraction and let me take a drink. If Damrata had learned Alternative naturally instead of receiving it as a gift, his body would have never been taken over. It was a real obstacle, and Yuki had to use anti-skill to the hilt to break down the barriers. In time though, he found the domination bullet lodged in his soul, and once he had Damrata's permission, he instantly focused his power on it. Life Stealer! The bottom of Yuki's palm struck Damrata's chest. Life Stealer! The bottom of Yuki's palm struck Damrata's chest. The precisely controlled blow shattered only the bullet and nothing else. It seemed so anticlimactic. But now, Damrata was free once more. Thank you, Sir. I almost said Sir Rimuru there. Wow.
I mean,
It's been a while.
Sorry.
It has been a while.
My
Habits, man,
instincts when I heard the word Sir immediately. Thank you, Sir Yuki. Yeah. Hope you can stop relying on others like that for a while. I'm worried about Kagali's group. Though. You gotta go. But what are you gonna do? Let me join you. I need to speak with the Demon Lord Rimuru tomorrow regardless. We'll be proceeding with the coup right after that. So it'd be too dangerous to return to where Kondo is.
Kondo.
True. Kondo. Dang it! Kondo. It's the N.
Monkey.
Why is there an N if there's two O's?
Kondo.
Monkey.
Monkey.
Monkey Kondo.
Return to
Kondo.
monkey.
Monkey.
Return to Kondo.
Return to
Kondo. Monkey. I need a picture. Hold on. I need to picture Kondo as a monkey. Kondo as a monkey.
Kondo the monkey.
Can feel it.
Kondo monkey.
Kondo is just
So
a filthy monkey.
Kondo monkey son.
He's a filthy
Sorry.
monkey, but he's a great lieutenant in the Frieza Force.
That context is.
True. No need to try patching things up now. True. No need to try patching things up now, is there? Yuki laughed. Dumrata joined him. Ready to go then? By all means. He turned around and headed for the door. Dumrata nodded and following orders along. But just then, so why were you playing with this outside element instead of taking care of him, Dumrata? You weren't seriously planning to betray His Majesty, were you? Ooh, hold. Oh, the cold voice made Yuki too nervous to move. The real crisis was only beginning. Should I keep going, or?
Nope, that's where we're gonna stop for you, and I'm gonna pick up from there and finish up the rest of the
Love
chapter.
reading sentences like that right at the end.
Yeah. All right, so we're at 243, and we end at 252, so we got less than 10 pages to go, guys. I just figured I'd let you absorb the image.
Oh, I skipped. Hang on, let me go back.
It's my turn on the Xbox.
Sucker punch.
Wow.
But I only got like
Oh, that's beautiful.
20
Yeah.
minutes? Shem got double
Yeah, but
that. No.
you know that means he's gonna be like, the attack on my life left me scarred and deformed.
The attack on my life left me
Yeah.
scarred and deformed. I swear, if we do like a fan dub of all of Palpatine's lines, I'm gonna be all for that. I'm like, yes.
Oh, that's you. That's gonna be straight up you. There's no choice.
All
It's
right,
you.
here we go.
All right, I'll go put that on my channel then.
Let's see if I can do this in 19 minutes. I should be able to get through 10 pages in 19 minutes.
Yeah, you
You
can.
got this, bud.
Without a
poll in
sound,
chat.
before anyone knew what happened, she was standing right there. Her presence was overwhelmingly strong. Her hair blue, her face beautiful. It'd be the first time they met, but Yuki felt he already knew this figure from somewhere. The figure of the one on the other side of the curtain, seated next to the Emperor. The Marshal. Lady Velgrind! Dumrata's whisper sounded bizarrely loud. Velgrind? Does he mean... At that moment, Yuki realized his face was too tensed up to move. A true dragon, the strongest creature in the world. Now she was before him. Their powers beyond compare. This sure ain't good. I didn't sense this when I saw Veldora, but with her, it's not even a question of winning or losing. Fighting someone like her head-on would just be suicide. But despite that realization, Yuki refused to give up. If a head-on confrontation was doomed to fail, simply find a back door. And Yuki had the perfect special move for that. Alright, you 12-year-olds. Play his cards right, he thought, and victory
'Cause
seemed
backdoor
possible
beats,
enough.
You know.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Moon. Share with the class. Share with the class. All of us uneducated heathens who couldn't possibly know what the back door of is a euphemism for.
Mr. Moon, what does the back door mean?
Jesus Christ.
Backdoor. Backdoor is a euphemism for exit.
He's right. He's absolutely right.
You know what? You're gonna have to be a little more clear than that.
Mr. Moon, what's
you know,
an exit?
the opposite of entrance.
That doesn't.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm afraid you're gonna have to properly explain this for all the dumb people in class.
Baby Dave over there doesn't understand what you're talking about. You need to tutor him.
I present to you butt stuff.
Oh, thank God! I
Yeah,
thought
perfect.
he meant
Oh, you got
penis.
pain. Butt scratch.
Very good.
All right, can I continue?
I guess.
God damn it! All right, I haven't even made it through this page, and I'm already down 3 minutes from this nonsense. All right. I never would have guessed, Her Excellency, the Marshal was a true dragon all along. Now I understand why Guy hasn't made a move yet. My, how unusual for a human. I admire you for not losing your nerve around me. Thanks, and by the way, It'd be really great if you could let me go. What do you think? That's fine by me. I don't have any business with you. My dear husband does. Valgren took another step back, and only then did Yuki notice the other man present. His eyes opened wide. Standing next to Valgren was a man in an extravagant outfit that was no doubt worth an astronomical amount of money. Yuki knew his face well. Masayuki? Nah, no way it's him or... To Yuki, this man had to be Masayuki's identical twin, but he noticed a few differences. The most notable one was the hair color. The man before him had shining blonde hair, and while Masayuki usually dyed his blonde, his natural color was the standard black of most Japanese people. Looking more closely, he could sense differences in the eyes, too. Masayuki's were always either darting around or just kind of blank, unthinking. But this man looked like he could see through everything. It almost felt like those eyes could consume you if you weren't careful. No way were they the same person. Guess not, huh? Now, reasonably sure of that, Yuki then realized who the man really was. If Valgren called him her husband, that left only one candidate. Emperor Ludora? That's right, Sir Yuki. This is His Majesty, Emperor Ludora, the ruler standing at the peak of the empire. Damrata provided the reply. He was on his knees already, not even caring if he got his clothes dirty. Okay, I can't... Something amusing, Moon? I hear you giggling over there. Are you okay?
Talking to people.
Funny joke.
Funny joke!
I was hoping you would say that.
What weapon does a fat Jedi use?
As a fat Jedi once said,
A heavy saber!
Jesus Christ.
What is a Jedi's favorite car?
a Toyota!
Funny joke!
Somebody's going to obliterate their lungs on stream doing that.
Or someone's ears.
Yeah.
Funny.
Funny. All right. Anyway.
It's not even the joke. It's just the delivery.
Okay. Anyway.
Too many Yoda jokes.
He urgently wanted to prove to Ludora that he bore no animosity. Yuki couldn't blame him. He knew how much more Ludora meant to him. The real issue at hand. Why was Ludora here at all? Oh, color me shocked. Why is your eminence in a meeting hall like this? Are you bored or... No, I'm quite a busy man, the Emperor replied, unaffected by Yuki's teasing. My game against Guy is in the closing stages. I have no time to trifle with other matters. This seemed to astound Damrata. He never thought that Ludora would actually address someone lower than himself, and he never thought Valgren would allow it. Oh? Well, you better stop bumming around my place, then. Enough nonsense. I want you to join me. Agree to it, and I'll let you keep your free will. It was an order, one from far above, delivered to a lowly worm on the ground. Yuki hated this type of person more than anything else, but for some reason, he felt like he just couldn't resist. Is this thought guidance in action? It resembles the brand of dominance Maribel tried on me, but far stronger. The power annoyed him greatly, but since Yuki had anti-skill handy, he could cancel out any skill-driven order on him. Or he should have been able to. No. This isn't any simple power like that. Yuki shivered as he came to that realization. It took a mighty effort not to fall to his knees. This was pure charisma, the unimaginable supremacy of a ruler capable of subjugating anything he sees. He resisted it with all his might. Pfft. Not bad. I wasn't expecting you to break out this cheat code on me from the very start. He spat on the floor in anger. A little blood mixed in. It was usually Yuki dominating encounters like these from the start, and he hated having his style copied like this. But he was still in the clear. He was angry, and that emotion was proof that Ludora's control on him was broken. With a bold smile, he looked his way, only to find the Emperor giving him a quizzical look of his own. "What's wrong? Strange to find your power doesn't work on me, huh?" "No." Ludora turned toward Velgrin, troubled. She responded with light giggling, which didn't make Ludora feel any better. "Don't worry, Ludora. When this kid was exposed to your presence, he mistook it for a mental attack. You have to use a lighter touch, or you'll break him before he can even join you." "What? This won't work?" "No. You don't have enough people in your life to speak to you on equal terms. That makes it hard for you to control your strength." Velgrin seemed to thoroughly enjoy how puzzled Ludora was. Yuki, hearing all this, trembled in humiliation. "Are you kidding me? Do I not even register to them? Let's take that smug attitude and rip it apart right now." "That's fine," he said, regaining his composure. "I'll admit it, you guys are definitely the greatest rulers this world's ever known. But you know, if you have all that power and still can't conquer the entire world, then to me you could hardly be more incompetent." As usual, he kicked things off with
Greatest
provocation.
rulers. Does it mean they're a yardstick?
Shots fired.
Velgrin responded first. Brash of you. How about we kill him after all, Ludora? Bringing this kid into the fold wouldn't make that much difference strength-wise against Guy. Why keep him around just so he can sass us like this? But Ludora was more magnanimous than that. "Oh, don't say that. Maybe you see him as insignificant, but give him the right education and he can grow to become a tremendously useful pawn. And isn't a little defiance now and then a nice change of pace? A cat, after all, is just as cute if it refuses to sidle up to you. I like him." It was Ludora's way of completely disregarding Yuki. He snorted at it, taunting Ludora wouldn't accomplish much of it if it did nothing to bother him. It was time to break out the big guns. With Velgrind around, Yuki couldn't waste a lot of time. He'd have to tap his greatest weapon from the get-go and use the momentum from it to subdue the true dragon. Yuki steeled himself. "You want me to join you? Fine. But I'm not about to serve someone weaker than me. If you want me around, you're going to have to show me some real power." As soon as he shouted it, "Show me some real power!" As soon as he shouted it, Yuki began to act. No time for small talk, no point in putting on a performance. The ultimate skill, Mammon, converted the size of one's desires into actual power, and Yuki knew he was a greedy man. It was only natural, he thought, that he awakened to the power he took from Maribel. That was why he firmly believed that a skill as outlandishly unfair as Mammon made him the strongest in the entire world. So who would he target first? It had to be Ludora. He'd take control of the Emperor, using him as a hostage against Velgrind. If that let him survive this crisis, the whole day would be a blessing in disguise. Such bullish optimism was Yuki's driving force, and it had brought him great success so far, and this time, too, he'd made a huge leap forward. It was the only thought in his mind as he started running. In another few steps, he was within punching range. In less time than the blink of an eye, Yuki's hand was about to touch Ludora. He activated Life Absorb, one of Mammon's sub-skills in his right hand, combining it with Anti-Skill. This fearsome combo allowed him to penetrate through any barriers his target might have covering him. This was what Life Stealer was meant for, and unlike with Dumrata, Yuki didn't care if this attack was lethal or not. If Ludora died, it only meant he had Velgrind alone to deal with. Escaping two strong opponents would be a formidable challenge, but a single one was far more manageable. If he survived, though, that's where Yuki's left hand came in. It was infused with heart control, a terrifying power that acted on the target's emotions and even affected their memories. It was a dominating force, one even more vicious and irresistible than Maribel's own greed. Yuki planned to use this 1-2 punch to blaze a path through this, but the plan was quickly shattered. "You will not lay a hand on Ludora in my presence." Yuki was running his body to the absolute upper limits of speed, but not even he could keep Velgrin from stepping between him and the Emperor. Then, without breaking a sweat, she swatted Yuki's right hand away. He was stunned. Having his hand blocked was a surprise, but even more astounding was the sheer amount of energy that flowed from Velgrin. It was a raging torrent, enough to make Yuki vomit blood. In a single exchange, his body was infused with far more magicals than he could ever hope to withstand. Instantly, he realized the danger, forcibly twisting his body to get away. If he reacted even a moment later, his body would have been completely destroyed. It wasn't that Velgrin did anything to him exactly, quite the opposite. All she did was push Yuki's hand away. The damage was more self-destructive in a way. He had activated Life Stealer, and then he used it to absorb far more energy than he could control. As blood flowed out from his mouth, eyes, and nose, Yuki thought over what just happened. That's insane. How beyond my allowable limit was that? I'm at a point where I could take in dozens of high-level elementals without issue, and I got all filled up in a single instant? How crazy are true dragons anyway? This is why you fail. Anyway.
He got filled up all right.
Oh.
You want to try finishing this chapter in the next 4 fucking minutes?
I don't know how many pages are left.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. 4, basically. I know you can't do a page a minute, motherfucker. Man, I'm trying to finish this up, and when you know, this is when all the wisecracks and yucks come about.
There's just so many innuendos here.
Well, keep them to yourself. I'm trying to finish the chapter.
Okay.
In time, and now you've wasted another goddamn minute, Moon.
Just read.
Fuck
Turning my microphone off.
Alright. Yuki wanted to complain to the gods about it. Velgrin was nobody to trifle with. Despite all the energy taken from her, she acted like she was in no pain at all. Yuki's attack wasn't even worth defending in her eyes. Now he realized how impossible this was. Damn it! I had no idea there was this much of a difference. No wonder I barely registered it with them. They were undeniably on the same level as Gi. Realizing that, Yuki now knew just how lofty the great heights of the world truly were. It was an impossible gap to traverse. And he only knew it because of the ultimate ability he awakened to. Staging any kind of attack against them would be suicide. He had no choice but to wait for his enemy to make a move. I'd advise you not try anything rash, please. I've come to you on my own volition. And indeed, why don't I respond to your request to see my power? It's a bad habit to indulge, Ludora. Leave that to me. I don't want you getting hurt. Well, that won't be very convincing, now will it? This was stirring the pot, nothing more. Yuki wasn't about to let them take all his favorite party tricks away from him. Glad you know what I'm talking about. Realistically speaking, I think I've already lost, but I'm not a quitter, you know. Don't expect me to give up that easily. Or easy. He knew he was being a sore loser, but Yuki decided to grandstand a bit anyway. Now that he knew there was no way to beat Velgrin, all he needed to protect now was his dignity. Even if you got him killed, he wanted to have things his way right to the very end. Infused with a new drive, he glared at Ludora. The Emperor responded with a curious smile. Very well, let me take you on. I will tell you in advance that domination is a strong suit of mine. If you can endure it, you win, and you may go wherever you wish. The unexpected offer made Yuki steal his eyes. Ludora clearly meant it. He really didn't mind letting Yuki go, and while Yuki couldn't read his intentions here, Ludora saw this confrontation in rather simple terms. Yuki could gain experience through this. experience that would give him even stronger powers. Once that was done, they could talk it over again, and then he'd have Yuki in his hands. The two of them were completely different in ability. That's why Yuki found Ludora so creepy, and why his taunts enraged him. Domination's his strong suit? Well, it's the same for me. I'm gonna bet it all on this Mammon skill. Ludora looked at him, bemused and excited about his first match in a long time. If Yuki could withstand his domination skills, this might prove to be one treacherous ally indeed. He was aware of the possibility, but he still chose to engage him. If this is enough to crush me, well, that's as far as my ideals will take me. Defeat wasn't even on his mind, and if Yuki merely pretended to obey him, that was not the end of the world either. Taming pawns like that, he was sure, was the only way he could truly become the world's sole dominant ruler. And Velgrin had known him for a long time. She didn't need it spelled out to know what he was thinking. That's why she knew how useless it was to chide him for this. All right. If you lose, then I'll make sure to avenge you. She took a step back. You hardly need to worry, Ludora replied, chuckling as he stepped forward. Yuki followed suit, ignoring his screaming aches and pains as he stood up. Your group certainly is interesting, though. No wonder Guy praised you all as the jokers disrupting this whole game. How did you know that? I just received a report from Tatsuya about them. The moderate jesters. I just received a report from Tatsuya about them. The moderate jesters, I think they're called. Well, their leader's fallen into our hands, too. And I'll also tell you this. Everything about you now is fully known to me. Keep that in mind as you challenge me. Tatsuya was Lieutenant Kondo's given name. Ludora must have had some way to keep in contact with him, and he must have reported on defeating Kagami just now. Realizing all this, Yuki let out a sigh of disgust. Everything from his unique constitution to the fight and subsequent conversations he had with Guy had been leaked. Yuki had told everyone he trusted about his ultimate skill. Damrata had faithfully kept it a secret, but now all that was meaningless. Kagami was Yuki's closest confidant, and naturally, she knew all his secrets. Oh man, I'm dead. So they know absolutely everything about me? Suddenly, Yuki had an urge to throw it all away. His mind told him that he was out of ideas, but his pride would never allow him to retreat at this point. But most of all, then Kagami isn't dead. Ludora's got some kind of domination skill, and if I had to guess, Kondo's got something close to that. In which case, instead of trying to run, in an instant, he formulated a plan. It had a very low chance of success, but it made him feel better than taking things on with zero strategy. Well, kind of you to say, but all that ease is gonna be your downfall. That's fine. I tend to believe I've won only when I've surpassed my opponent's full strength. So please, by all means, give it your all as well. I don't want you having any regrets. Ludora took another step forward. Then he assumed a fighting stance, a unique one. No weapons involved. He was a swordsman by training, as proven by the longsword on his belt. But he intended to defeat Yuki purely by domination, as promised. Yuki had already seen through Ludora's personality. He had a firm, honest disposition, one not befitting a ruler at all, and now he was sincerely aiming to battle Yuki. That's what made him so easy to read. Honestly, winning here in the primary definition of the term is impossible. Even if I pull something off against Ludora, Velgrin's still here. If I can't escape, then the best I can hope for is to cancel out Ludora's domination? But Ludora had been expecting that. And what's more, he had total confidence that he could take control of Yuki, and so the only option Yuki was left with was, "Bring it on, Ludora!" betting everything on the slightest of probabilities. Regalia Dominion. With a balletic move, Ludora sprang into action, instantly closing the distance between himself and Yuki. Once he was in range, he began activating his imperial domination, the very pinnacle of powers offered to his ultimate skill, Michael, Lord of Justice. Unlike the imitation he proffered to Kondo, this skill had no limitations, and its powers were an order of magnitude greater. Even among ultimate skills, there were still subclassifications in rank, and for someone as recently awakened as Yuki, there was no way to resist this one. Ludora stood there, as dignified as could be. Yuki collapsed on the spot. The winner and loser seemed clear now, but the outcome remained unknown. Are you sure you won't kill him? People like him, you know. They'll pretend to obey you, and then they'll wait for just the right moment to strike. That's fine. That's what makes it so fun. I'm letting him off the hook as a reward for resisting my dominance. Despite it all, Ludora's confidence remained unshakable. His absolute dominance was assured in his mind, and he didn't doubt his victory for a moment. All right, then. Ludora, the victor, boldly smiled. Then he turned toward Dumrata, who was staying politely silent in a corner of a room, and addressed him like an old friend. Forgive me, Dumrata, but I cannot have you getting in my way just yet. As you wish, Your Majesty. That was all it took for the two of them to be on the same page. When he wakes up, please take care of him for me. Yes, Your Majesty. Satisfied with that reply, Ludora left with Velgrin in tow. He had only just begun tightening the reins of his government, and now that he was on the move, a new era was about to begin. Not even the capital would escape the waves of upheaval. And even though it was the middle of the night, the sky turned red as rain of red as a rain of pure crimson began to fall. There we go. 6 minutes late. Thank you, Moon.
Look! Be happy I shut off my fucking mic because every time you said absolute domination, I died. I'm sitting here like...
I didn't interrupt him! I had the least amount of shit to read.
And I appreciate you for that. I'm sorry I'm terrible.
You go eat grass. I don't know.
Go do butt stuff
I
with
might.
yourself.
Yeah, go do butt stuff.
Gladly, I'll be right back.
I might.
Oh, yeah, get me. All right, guys. That is all of chapter 3. I think we might actually be able to get... Okay.
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 So, also, guys, just remember if you want to come check out more stuff that I'm doing, I'm going to be playing Alien Isolation on Sunday.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, it was paid for. And Leafuchi's going to be joining me, so that's going to be Sunday evening. Yeah, that's what we got going on. Outside of that, we have Anime Church, all sorts of other stuff. I have some stuff recorded, and we'll probably do some live stuff soon. If you want to go to, I need to actually find it. Let's see. What was it? Technical difficulties, Fat Dog, I think. Technical difficulties podcast PDS. That's what it's called. Woo. All right, so give me just a second. I'm getting the... link to...
The past?
Well, I'm trying to.
There is a saying. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery.
Yeah,
But today is a gift.
and
that
2
is
days
why
from
it's
now is a
called the present.
hysterectomy.
Jesus.
Oh, dear.
Go eat a peach.
That is bad news.
That is bad.
That is bad news.
Everybody stretch!
Oh, no.
Everybody is kung fu
I actually wanted to stretch.
fighting.
Oh, God.
There we go. Nice.
Oh. Ooh, that made me lightheaded a bit.
This actually feels really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, good night.
You guys gotta
Good night,
try
Sonic.
this.
I already did. Good night, Sonic. Have a good night.
Buenos noches.
You know, I got my pillow right here.
Amimir. Sonic Amimir. Very much Amimir. Yeah, Amimir.
Mimi.
Mimi.
I don't know
Yeah.
Mimi.
I can't up there. All right.
Mimi. Sonic's
get
a
my
honk
vote?
shoe kind of man.
I'm
Dude,
a what?
I think it's. I think
You're a
it's
honk shoe
the
kinda
reason
man.
it's hard to
What is
find
that?
this.
I don't know if I should be offended or not.
Choo. Choo. Yeah. Moon is a
Oh,
Mimi kind of guy.
okay.
I'm a what? Oh,
You're a Mimi kind of guy. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
you.
really know if I snore
Okay.
or anything actually.
Yep.
I
Sorry.
think
Go ahead.
that okay, so it's hard to find the channel, and I think that's because we haven't posted anything yet.
Mm.
What channel?
There we go.
yeah.
The podcast channel.
Technical difficulties podcast PDS. There we go. Copy.
Sonic versus what now?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. What?
Mm-hmm.
In the chat, it says Sonic versus DP.
What?
Dragon Punch.
Sonic's doing
Wake up,
double
DP.
penetration. What?
Uh,
Thank you. Someone else. All right.
I read it
But
as
wasn't
Dragon
the only
Punch,
one.
but
Sure. Yeah, try and correct.
That's very
it
different.
Yeah,
now.
Deadpool. That's what you
I need
meant.
yeah,
someone
sure,
to
sure.
volunteer.
Sure.
yeah, sure.
Guys, that is the link to the channel. If you want to
I will
go
only
check it
consent
out,
if I approve of the person.
we're gonna try and get.
Oh, Deadpool.
things- We're gonna try and get things put up. Hopefully, sometime this week. I've got a couple of things that I need to talk to some people about, like talking about Yu Yu Hakusho, the Netflix Yu Yu Hakusho.
That's coming?
Shit.
That's a
That's-
thing?
It's already
that's
came.
already out.
It's on Netflix.
Oh.
The live
Oh, I
action
had no
Already
idea.
out there, all over the place.
All right, here's the
I had
thing.
zero idea.
Here's
Wow.
the
I
thing.
didn't know either.
It's only 5 episodes, and that's probably the biggest problem.
If it were 8 episodes, they probably could have at least fit more of the damn Dark Tournament.
Yeah, they could have. All right. Anyway, that being said, though, guys, I've got a bunch of stuff that we're talking about there. Anybody else got anything that they're wanting to plug right now?
I do.
Go for it.
The Y-Man Sonic the Hedgehog audiobook that I narrate. Its 3rd chapter is out. So if you want to go check that out, I can go find the link to that and put that in chat if you want.
I would like to take this time to say I am not I want to do more of my reactions to the different anime series. I still have that whole list. My problem is the internet here is not great. Trying to upload anything, even just a 2-minute video that I'm trying to send to someone on Discord, it takes forever. And trying to do 30 minutes to an hour's worth, it doesn't like to do it. So I am trying to continue to upload more of those for our wonderful Patreon viewers and such. But it's just increasingly difficult, and it's making me lose a lot of motivation. However, I will probably try to take this time to go ahead and start editing stuff,
Or recording
and just
them, yeah.
create a backlog of recording and editing, and just create a large backlog of recorded and edited stuff. That way, I can start uploading once I either have better internet, or I can start trying to continuously upload after a while. So,
Or at the very least,
like
at a
I said,
place where you
nothing-
could upload.
exactly.
Okay.
Nothing I'm doing is stopping. It's just on a hold for right now. I wish it wasn't.
All right.
They're cooking, though.
Guys, thank you so much for coming and checking out the stream. Really do appreciate it. Who is online right now? That is a good question. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't
Nasty
raid
is.
Iron Mouse. Yeah,
Oh.
Nasty is.
Nasty
How
is.
sad.
Paperbox House is online. JonTron.
Actually, I wonder if I got a buddy.
I didn't even know that guy still streams.
Okay.
I've been thinking about starting streaming.
Yeah, we're gonna raid Director Nasty. Might as well.
Okay.
Nasty.
Okay.
How
Yeah,
weird would it be if
nasty.
I actually, one of us actually was like, as soon as we're done here, we're gonna go stream. And it's like, all right, we'll just stream the person who's gonna go live right now. So it's like, all right, we'll go see you. Bye bye. And then like, hey guys, hey Raiders, how you doing?
All right, guys,
buddy.
that's it for us. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time or on Sunday
Bye,
for Anime
guys.
Church. And I'll also be streaming Alien Isolation on Sunday later with Leafuchi kind of helping to be my emotional support
Oh.
VTuber. Yeah. Sometimes you just need an emotional support VTuber.
You just need a VTuber to support you emotionally.
All right.
Absolutely.
Always.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Do this one here.